I made it. How is everybody doing today? You guys have a whole thing going here. Nice. It's good to see that you're all having fun. I saw, well, we'll get to it. We're going to give it 5, and then we are going to start. So buckle in. Yes, Firefly, what are you looking for? That's my food. Are you hungry? Fi? Do you want to eat? You're hungry too? Okay. Watch over my chow mein while I feed Firefly. Come on, let's go. All right, let's eat. Let's go. Firefly. You're overstimulated, girl. And I know why. Come here. It's okay. Come. You're so funny. Come here. Everything's all right. Ready? Let's go. Oh, that's right, because there's no fucking air. I closed the vent. All right, I'm back. Oh, I haven't eaten today, so we're gonna do that. Well, that's not true. I was able to make myself nuggets, but like chicken nugs, but that wasn't a meal. That was for fun. 30 seconds, and we're gonna roll through. I forgot Game of Thrones is still on TV. Clemson. I'm disrobing so I can eat. I might re-robe when I have eaten. Let's see, I need a pillow. All right, it's time to begin. Welcome to the Picture Pieces Archive. We meet here twice a week. For 90 minutes. On Tuesdays and Fridays. What we do here is encourage each other to be our best selves and to hold space for self and others. We've gone through a couple of iterations of this live event interaction, and all of it brought us to now. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give the system update first while I'm eating. And then we'll move out of that into the reporting segment. And we'll move out of that into the decompression meditation. It's been a long day. I am exhausted. I have a headache. I'm hungry. It took me like 2 hours to get back on the horse to be here right now. So, but I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. I fucked up my voice again, so even though I almost got it back, it's going to be low-key and only what's necessary. My speech this evening. Yeah. How is everyone doing today? I like to start every one of these off with an acknowledgement of the chat. We took a 1-week hiatus, which I didn't even get through before crazy shit started happening. We are all here for the first time right now. How are we doing? I'm glad to hear that, Lisa. Thanks, guys. It's Panda. It's Panda Express. It's a lot of noodles. Oh my God. So, let's go over the system update. Like I said, we've done a couple of different versions of this. And I've decided what's necessary and what's not as a result of that experimentation. We are going to do things differently, and it will be much more interactive from here on out. I can promise you that. This is my second mukbang. So here's what didn't work. Okay? Though the long format was super fun, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to try to stick as closely as we can to 90 minutes from top to bottom, okay? This is because what we're going to be doing during the time is going to be much more focused on engagement. It's going to be interactive. In fact, every Tuesday, you all, whether you're here during the stream or here in the now, you will be bringing to the table every week, or encouraged to bring to the table every week, a research project that you will be carrying out and determining the limits of. And I think that's pretty cool. So as I carry out my research process and I use this time as a way to focus my energy and make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be and I'm doing what I need to be doing, I will be sharing what it is that I found throughout the week that I will be adding to my research process. And so will you. As I said in the incomplete public address video that I did, I posted it at the beginning of the hiatus. My need for you as an observer, participating consciously in this process of mine. I need you to become aware of who you are, what's going on in your community, and how you and your community are impacting the world around you. Okay? So we're going to work on that together. And I'm not going to tell you what to look at. I'm not going to tell you who you are. That's all for you to discover. I am going to encourage you now to use all of the tools at your disposal to do that. Your social media, your personal devices, and public resources and everything, okay? I would like for you to become a detective of your own reality, investigating with a sound mind the dimensions in which I is fixed, okay? And if you're confused about how to start or what I'm talking about, or you have any other interaction with that emotionally, intellectually, just know that you can use me as an example, okay? So one of the reasons that I use this time to check in is because I want to be able to give you all the opportunity to utilize this space for your own personal growth and health. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you to actually do something with it, more than just me saying like, hey, do your thing or hang out, you know? I'm going to give you something to do. And you can choose to do it, or you can choose not to. And that's Tuesdays. So Tuesdays are the check-in days, and is the day that we check in on our investigation into our reality. Collective reality and individual reality. Okay? That's what every single Tuesday is going to be for. Every single Friday is going to be a day to rest. So we have a work day and we have a rest day. Okay? So every Friday we're going to come in for the same amount of time. We are going to meditate, stretch and breathe, reflect on our time, and then move back into our lives. At the beginning of the week, we'll have a check-in on our investigation into our reality. And on Fridays, we will have a reflection into our own perception of what it is we experienced over the last week. So you can kind of think of the Tuesdays as being the sun days and the Fridays as being the moon days. You can also think of, if you want to think symbolically or use, the system that I've shared here to make these days more meaningful. You can also see the day of Tuesday as being the new moon and Friday being the full. That's how I see it right now. It might be helpful for you. Okay, take another bite, because you're going to forget to eat. So that's the first update. No long-term videos. We're doing 90 minutes each time. And instead of doing the same thing for both days, we're going to prioritize certain days for certain things. Yeah, that's the game plan. We're going to help each other see. And the reason I'll ask you every week, by the way, to show your research, or at least share just even the topic of what you looked into, is so that we can, one, I can learn more about the world. I want to know more about the world. I want to know more about the human condition. This would be a really easy way to do that, but also I want us to work out our differences of sight together. You know, by bringing things to the table, we'll be able to have conscious, focused conversations about everything and anything. I see you in the chat. I'm left-handed, 100%. Another thing that's changing is that even though these are lives, I'm going to be posting abridged versions or edited versions of these videos from here on out. So this one will be available until the abridged one is available. And then this one will still be available, but the abridged version of this will be available in the Now playlist. I think that's better than just having the long form videos in the Now playlist, because it is a lot. And it's not, you know, I go in circles sometimes. So where that's cool for me to work out my process that way, it would be more helpful to cut out the ums and ahs, you know, the parts where I'm chewing for 5 minutes or whatever. And, you know, just tastefully edit those events into more refined versions of themselves. I will be keeping the originals up online because, you know, because you might think, well, why would you have two versions of the same thing? For insurance, in case there's an edit that anybody feels is dishonest, or if you wanted to go see if that moment was really what it looked like, or if I edited it a certain way, you can go do that. You know, put those research skills to use. So look forward to that, because abridged versions of all of the live events will be coming. All of them. Which I think is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna take another bite. Hey, look, we're doing better. We took a bite sooner than we had before. It didn't wait as long. On a side note, I'm really sad because I like listening to the videos to annotate them while I'm playing video games. Like right now I'm playing, I said 9 Souls and Animal Well on my PC, and I love playing Animal Well while I'm listening to my videos. It's just a cool little puzzle game. You just roll around and absorb yourself. And but here, I got the bubble wand, and I got so good at the bubble jump, but my controller's from Goodwill. Yeah, it's from Goodwill. So I bought it for like, you know, $5 or whatever. And I, like a lighter, jumping orient. And now my stick is broken. So that's super cool. I have to go buy a new controller in order to play the video game that I want to play. Because you cannot play Animal Well with all of its platforming challenges if you're freaking stick drifts. You can only blow bubbles in one direction. You can't land on top of them. It's awful. It's like a nightmare situation. And it was hard enough to get the bubble one, like, in the first place, okay? I had to learn how, my game glitched. I couldn't, every time I watched a walkthrough, I didn't see any extra buttons being hit before the second elevator in the bubble wand chamber opens up. But even though I pushed all the buttons, the second set of elevators wouldn't work. So I literally had to learn the bubble jump in order to get out of the area, because I had to bubble jump my way out. And now my controller's broken. Just a fun fact. Ooh. Oh, good for you, Crimson. That's really cool that you started writing a nonfiction book about yourself. Cool. I like that. Oh, I see you guys are talking about the album The Hunting Party by Linkin Park. And I just wanted to laugh for a second before I move on with the update. Like, Hunting Party has like a ton of features on it, right? Like, this is well known. This is not like something new to think about. But in the Heavy interview that Genius conducted with Mike and Chester, Mike Shinoda said that they opened up the studio for the first time to people. And they realized they liked it, so they decided to continue with One More Light. But, like, I don't know how he's seeing that, if he's being genuine, because the whole Hunting Party album was features. You're going to tell me, I don't even know how to say his name exactly, but I think it's Rakim. Right? That's his name? One of the rap features. What kind of man is this? And he's got dreams of being well, right? When we build the product, when we make that product we build cheap, you feel me? How real can real be? That guy. Yeah, I think I said his name right. He's like very clearly a feature. But also, it wasn't until Rick Rubin, okay? Rick Rubin is what I'm saying. Rick Rubin is a producer that's been on with the band for at least 3 or 4 albums. Jay-Z was a part of Collision Course. Sure. Minutes to Midnight, Meteora, and Hybrid Theory were all like their own albums, but like, if you're working with a producer, you're still working with a producer. Like, you're gonna tell me Rick doesn't count as a collaboration? Rick counts as a collaboration, homie. I'm trying to go through the discography now. So like, Rick worked with them through, I believe it was 1,000 Suns. And then Living Things didn't have any features on it, but the Hunting Party did. They also regularly release like remixes of Linkin Park songs, or like back in the day for like LPU or whatever it was, you know, Steve Aoki, things like that. Like, they work with people. They work with people. What is he talking about? Why does he say things like that? I just don't understand how he sees it, you know? Because how do you see something like that and then call it that? What? Okay, back to the update. Let me take another bite. Back to the update. Or I guess, let me say that again. It's not the Picture Pieces archive. It's not like that. I'm realizing the way I introduced myself wasn't what I wanted to say. Hi. Live from within the Picture Pieces archive, it's me, Jamie. I'm back, bitches. Brittany's back. And it's lit. Okay. So back to the update. Again, priority on Tuesdays and Fridays has been identified. We are not doing long-term videos. Everything will be 90 minutes no matter which day it is. I'll be making edited or abridged versions of all of the live events that I've done. And I will be keeping the live events as, the whole live event without the edits on my social media for research purposes, comparison purposes. I like to make sure that I edit in a way that doesn't confuse or disrespect the point that I'm making, because that would be dishonest. So I like to look back and forth from my own mental. It's part of my using the assets I create as tools for my own self-grounding, self-coherence, okay? I like to look at the edit and I like to look at the raw materials together. Make sure that I'm seeing what I thought I was seeing, okay? So, we'll be doing that over here. That means that now full-time, I will be doing my research. The first step in doing that is going back to the timelines that I created, which I stopped working on probably a year and a half ago, just because I was busy doing this and leading up to this. So much history flashed before my eyes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the timelines that I have. I'm going to start way back in 95 and crawl my way up to the front. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to check proof, in other words, my timeline, plural. I'm going to take notes on what pieces of the timeline I would like to go further into. And then I'm going to take down 2 additional sources for each one of those thoughts that I had. And I'm going to do that from 1995 to the present, like I said. Part of the reason we're not doing such long form interaction anymore is because I need the energy to focus on the actual investigation into self and the investigation into the death of my father that I need to do. It's very specific work. You have to be super focused, make sure you have to check your sources, you have to coordinate all of the things into a sequence so you can see all of the pieces in the bigger picture. And I needed more space to do that, but I didn't want to do it at the expense of the audience, right? Because you are all choosing to be here. You're all you want the space. You want to, utilize the tools that are available to you, or at least, the hardcore core group of this community does. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been brainstorming that, okay, well, that's why I experimented so much. I said, I'm going to do this, and then kept changing it, is because even though I was going to do this, it can't always be this way. It may not be the way to do it. So those are 2 separate things. It can't always be this way, and also maybe I'm not doing it the best way I could. So while I'm engaging in this process, so we're kind of talking about Tuesdays now again, as I'm engaging in this process, you will do that for yourself as well if you'd like to. But that's where most of my focus is going to be. It's going to be on the investigation into self and into my dad. I'm going back to where I was before this all started, right? Okay. And then on the other side, there's the creative part. So when we do the days of self-reflection on Fridays, that's the day I'll do the improvisation, decompression, meditation, and that kind of stuff. That will be like music days. So I'll have Tuesdays for, that cognitive work, and then organization, administrative stuff. And then we'll have Friday to check in with the expressive, creative self. Okay? I know it kind of sounds like I might have said the same thing just now that I had previously said after having recapped it multiple times, but I promise you what I said is not the same as what I had just said. Just sounds the same, or sounds similar. Okay. And with that being said, I want to let you all know that I will be encouraging you to also be creative, kind of like I was for the last 2 or 3 live events where I was, giving you prompts to think about or write about or talk about. So, okay. So all of this will be much more formal and much more straightforward going into the future. Okay, so that's kind of all I have to say about this portion of the social media interaction. As for the broader entity of the Picture Pieces archive and its function, what will happen now is, because I'm focusing on expression and communication as well as investigation, I'm really only going to have the energy to interact with those projects. So what I did today on Instagram, that is something you can look forward to, because that's something that I just like to do. But when I do it from here on out, it will be to express an emotion about some piece of my experience in the investigation and in the strengthening and expanding of my expression and communication. I will emote through it, but it will be most likely dedicated to whatever I'm liking on social media. Like if I'm doom scrolling or something, I'll send cool stuff up there, like I have been. But more specifically, it will be focused on the resources that I come up with in my investigation. So essentially, Instagram is going to turn into an expressive environment, or it's going to retain its expressive nature. But I'm also going to now prioritize its capacity as an information delivery device. So my pictures from here on out, for example, my main Instagram posts, the things that I used to do, I haven't done in a long time, outside of the Picture Pieces archive post. Or the Picture Pieces initiative post. I'm going to be using that to put up the articles that I find. So now it's going to be dedicated to the articles that I find. Okay? That's what Instagram is for. The communication of and expression of the information that I learn and my feelings on it. And so I probably will not be interacting with the audience through the story anymore, because what I realized is that the same way that I need to focus on certain things at different times in the week to stimulate those bodies separately, I also needed to clearly define what modes I would be in communicating expressively, creatively through Instagram. Because it's really hard, when I look back at my reels, my highlights, what I see is I know where I'm expressing and when I'm talking to people. Sometimes I'm like in both places at once, and I don't feel like that's good enough for me. I would like to be more clear. I would like to be more focused in my communication. Not that what I've said is unfocused or, you know, beyond the point or whatever. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. That's why it took 2 extra hours to make it to this live event, right? So, yeah. And also, the reason that that line got blurred so much, the reason that that has become something that I need to focus on, is because I started expressing myself the way that I wanted to through the Instagram story, but only after I had been threatened with an attempted hack and then needed to defend my life. So I started doing more reactive, expressive stuff as soon as that happened, and that's a response that is no longer necessary, right? I don't need to do that anymore. And so, as some of you could tell over the last couple of weeks, what I've been doing is experimenting with different ways in which to communicate or express in this way. And that's the conclusion that I came to, okay? Okay. I'm gonna take a bite now because I'm definitely not remembering to eat. That's like the perfect amount of sauce now. I was trying to swallow when that burp came up. Bad timing. We got something going in, you can't come out. This is a one-way door. It swings out and in, but not both at the same time. And so is the nature of the universe. So that's what Instagram's gonna be getting. And I will also, to speak about the YouTube, its function will remain the same. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. There's nothing to say about that. What is going to happen, though? Yeah, Lisa, I'll go over it. We'll get there. We're not at the reporting segment. When we get to the reporting segment, I will give you the prompt, okay? And I'll give you an example of what I'm thinking about, because I'll be doing it. Thanks for asking. Thanks for letting me know that you're confused about what I'm saying. I'm glad I could clarify, and I will. Just give me a second. We're almost done with the update. So as I'm proofing my timelines and I am building out my desired path in expressing and communicating what it is that I found on my journey in its entirety, I will be adding media to the SoundCloud and media to the YouTube. I'll continue doing what I was doing on SoundCloud. I'll be stripping all of the videos for their audio and separating the musical segments from these live events into audio tracks that can be listened to. I will continue to organize those audios the way that I have been. That will evolve, obviously. Everything seems to evolve in real time, doesn't it? But as far as I'm concerned right now, the way it's been going is the way it is going to continue going. Same thing with the YouTube. I'm just going to add videos. I have tons of videos, Snapchats, Facebook stuff from when I was younger. I'm just going to keep building out the archive. So as I'm proofing and expanding upon and evolving the investigation into self and into my father's death, I will be building out the archive and then using those assets to create documentarian styled objects of to be observed. Okay, expressive things. So, you know, to kind of tie that into the Instagram story thing, I think what I'm going to do is I'm more often than not going to hold on to the assets or reorganize them in creative ways and post them as videos on my YouTube or Instagram. Because I think it's better to find something that you really want to say and say as much as you can about it. And I've been doing that in micro doses on Instagram stories, but I have so much material that I can go very far. Which leads me to some of the projects that I am, working out through the Picture Pieces archive. I will be creating a lot in this period, which will probably run through the new year. So it started on the 16th when I took my hiatus, and it'll probably run all the way through the year. I have at least 3 different types of documentaries I want to make using the stuff that mainly the highlights of my Instagram as backbone for. I see a lot of really cool stuff that I think could be put together and, you know, relatively quickly, and I feel like I have an efficient process for that. We'll see how easy it is though, because I'll tell you what, this stuff is tiring. It's exhausting. Like, just living's hard enough, but it's okay. So yeah, I have This Is the End, the documentary, and the major documentary of this entire, you know, the culmination of this entire process. I Is the Wormhole, This Is the Void. Which is, I'm happy to say, which is the direct follow-up to my short film, A Chant. One is the fictional version, you know, the mythological version in your head, and the other one is the reality of the situation. In other words, I Is the Wormhole, This Is the Void is A Chant. Gotcha. And then all these people over here are like, why are you recording me? Because I got you on tape. And I didn't even try. Most of these people, every single one of these people literally just fall into it. Venus flytrap style. They just, oh no, I got eaten up by the camera. Well, you literally attacked me. You literally accused me of attacking a child. You know, things like that. So it's like, whoa. And then ran away and hid and blocked and slandered in private. But yeah. So while I am, what the heck is that? Where'd you come from? There's a little tiny flying bug. So yeah, I have This Is the End, I As the Wormhole, This Is the Void as the direct follow-up to A Chant. And This Is the End is actually a direct follow-up to Papaya. You know, if Papaya is like, oh, why do you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again with expecting a different response? To show what it looks like to be continuously changing in This Is the End, where the entire thing is about celebrating me and my evolution and my relationship with my partner, who I have recently renamed Trilogy. It was Glimpses, Glimmers, and now it's Trilogy, because now I call them G, and I realize that there are 3 G's as their name, so I'm going to call them Trilogy. Also, they happen to be a really big Weekend fan, or they were, you know, not a fan. They resonated with the art at a time in their lives, and they were actually the one, Trilogy, was the one to introduce me to The Weeknd. I couldn't hear him before I listened to it with them. But he's good. He may be the motherfucker, but... Oh, sorry, he might be that motherfucker. But I like his music. False alarm. So I'll be working on that. I'll be working on 7 short films. Okay? So I released P, which is one of the letters of the alphabet, A to Z, which is in itself the phrase A to Z, the name of my meditative unfolding in art form, which of which I've already released A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, nope, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I was supposed to go to H next, but papaya came out first. So on the way to H, I will be covering I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and then we'll be back at H, and that will trigger a brand new restart. You see? So I have 2 documentaries, both follow-ups to my work, A Chant and Papaya. I have 7 more short films that I will be working on as I'm working out those documentaries. This process will continue from now to the end of the year, which is one of the reasons that we are reallocating energy right now, redefining the structure. Okay. And that's why I will be more quiet than usual, but only in certain ways. Okay. So we talked about Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, the intention for these live events, and so is there anything else? No. No? I guess I can end the update with a general acknowledgement that the period of time that began on 8/16 and will continue through the end of the year is a period of time specifically for the processing of all of the materials that have brought me to this moment. It's about getting all the audio files organized and uploaded. It's about getting all of the story time journals annotated and rewritten. It's about bringing the literature to the surface and doing, Audible type recordings over on my SoundCloud. It's about properly labeling all the videos and getting them annotated and getting them abridged, edited. Really just taking everything that led me up to this point and focusing it a bit more. Like I said, it's taking a diamond in the rough and processing it, making it pretty, giving it cuts, giving it that traditional diamond shape. And that is the update. There you go. Woo! It did take... What's the math on that? 42 minutes? But that's okay, that's not bad. We came back after a week. There's the update. That's how we're moving forward. Next time, the update won't be like that. The update will just be about anything that happened during the week. And then we'll move on to the reporting segment. Yay! Introduction problem solved. Whew. Okay. That was some heavy lifting, guys. For everything I just said, there were like a million more things to say, but we're not doing it. This is restraint. Now we're moving into the Reporting segment. Today we might go just a little longer than expected. Maybe not. Maybe we'll finish just in time. But there are things that I would like to talk about. So I'm going to talk about them. Because I had to spend so long giving the update, I think that's okay. If any episode is longer than the rest of the episodes in the season, it should be the last and the first, right? So let's get it. I'm going to set my computer up. We're going to change angles. Maybe I'll just move it. Could have been like a cool framing mechanism, but I guess not. Oh, I need this. Okay, let's turn this baby on. Charging, I'll need a mouse. Awesome. Okay. It's time for the reporting segment. So, every Tuesday, this one's for you, Lisa. Every Tuesday, we are going to check in with my documentary process, my investigation. You were actually asking about this earlier, Lisa. You said, will we be able to follow along with your investigation? That would be really cool. And I said, I will see you at the live event because, yes, I'm going to share with you in real time. We're going to check in every single week to see what I found, to discuss the research and to discuss any real world events that occurred, okay, during the time that we were not on screen. Okay, let's go to Instagram real quick and check in with that. That's bright as fuck. Check that out. Was there a message there? I thought I saw something. No. Okay. Oh, it's the changing of the light. That's what I see. It's the light of the computer getting brighter and dimmer. What we're going to do first is I'm going to change my handle profile, my handle name, sorry. If I am able to do that here. Tap on your curving handle. I'm not seeing that. Maybe a better question would be how to change the handle on the desktop. The Verge. I'm not seeing, I see what they're saying, but I don't. Because it's saying that I should just be able to click on it, but I'm not able to just click on my handle. Okay, anyways, we'll move forward. It's okay. I'll do it on the phone when I'm done. I am now changing my Instagram handle to the Picture Pieces Archive, and I will be changing the handles for all of the other parts of the platform shortly. That's the SoundCloud and the YouTube. Just something to be said. Okay, so something funny happened today. We're first going to report on what happened today because, like I said, we're talking about real life interactions and we're also talking about research. So before we move into the research, let's talk about the interaction. So let's go to the LP Live account so we can get dates on this. There it is. What the fuck are you talking about? Hold on. Oh, I clicked on it. I thought they were saying that I went. This is the kind of day I've been having. It says I talked to LP Italy, but it's just in the suggestions bar. That's not true. Okay, so for years, I've been following the LP Live account. And I know it says quote unquote in the bio. It says quote unquote for the fans, by the fans, unquote. Wait, what the fuck? That was all nonsense. Hold on. The bio for Linkin Park Live reads, hey, we are LP Live, established 2006, quote unquote, for the fans, by the fans, covering at Linkin Park and all related projects. I didn't realize until today that Linkin Park Live is actually a Stan account. Okay? I followed them like way back. I think I followed them as late as college, but I might be wrong. That'd be like 2014 to 2018. And so I was kind of shocked. Like when I realized that, I was like, why did I think that LP Live was a part of the major, like the superstructure for Linkin Park? Because that's not true at all. It's because I think there are a couple of like they're confusing factors. Because Mike, for example, Mike Shinoda, has said that he doesn't post from the LP Live account, but he didn't say that they were a fan account. And then the LP Live made it sound like he did post through the account. There's some like weird mix up. It's either in my head or it actually happened. I'm not sure. But on how do I see the insights? 3 days ago, if today is the 27th, it was on the 4th. So on the 24th of August, I think it was like 3 days before my hiatus ended, LinkinPark.com, the official Linkin Park website, posted a 100-hour timer, which is over tomorrow. And this is where things get kind of funny, because again, I thought they were actually a part of Linkin Park. They're not. So I'm over here, and it turns out that I'm actually just spectating. And so I'm looking at these posts. And this first one here, it says Linkin Park posted a countdown timer. It ends on Wednesday. It's time. #Linkin Park. Oh, really, Crimson? LP Live acted as an ambassador for the band. in 2017. Okay. The second posting, that's interesting information. Same day, Linkin Park, the official website, quote, ahead of their Wednesday end of countdown, Linkin Park has started to make updates to the Linkin Park Underground. The fan club website has now been updated to say, quote unquote, we are making updates to LPU, check back soon, with the sunglasses emoji. Hashtag Linkin Park, hashtag Linkin Park Underground, hashtag wear LPU, as in LPU merch. The picture is a picture of the subscription box where you put your email in and you subscribe to the newsletter. Now the LPU, the LP Underground, Linkin Park Underground, is a fan club that's existed since the beginning of time for Linkin Park. It's one of the reasons they got so big in the first place, because it substituted, or not substituted, it acted as Linkin Park's online access to communities and therefore fans, right? So that was one post. So they posted an acknowledgement of the official timer, then they posted an acknowledgement of what appears to be a same-day acknowledgement that the LPU is being revamped. And then the same day, there's a third post. And the caption reads, welcome to Rockville, a major United States rock music festival in Florida, has shared the Linkin Park countdown. The festival recently also posted that they, quote unquote, can't wait to share the 2025 lineup with fans. Hashtag Linkin Park. Okay. Okay, those were all three the same day. Before that, I had posted on their August 12th, 4 days before I went on hiatus. I went and commented on their posting of Mike Shinoda's 2024 August 12th journal diary entry. Journal/diary entry. It says, hey everyone, I've been locked away in the lab for a while, in between a couple of summer trips. So many exciting things planned for you. And I responded, bruh, really? Well, anyways, can't wait to hear about the lab you were trapped in, with the rolling eyes emoji. This was a big deal because one of Samantha's groupies came over, Just Another Iger, who also goes by Just Zelda01. And that's Samantha Bennington, Chester Bennington's first wife. We'll talk about her in a second, because she's important to this. And they started bullying me. Here you can see, because they deleted all of their comments, that I have a bunch of responses to this person. But they're not there anymore because they deleted themselves, okay? I said, no, I don't, because they said something to me. I said, you are really bad at listening, but we already knew that. And I did the egg and the basket emoji. And then I had been kind of conflicted about something this user at Mike Duck had said about me, about my mental health on this post. I thought it was a Linkin Park official post, like that they were able to see the comments and they were moderating this. So I was kind of surprised to see that somebody had said something like what I perceived Mike Duck's interaction to be. But they clarified for me on their own. They came over and they said, no, I didn't, that's not what I meant. And I said, okay. So I wrote, just so everyone knows, this person clarified their intention for me. This comment is not what it sounds like. I appreciate you, Mike Duck. And then I wrote, it's you again. How are you? Because, I'm a troll. And then this other person had said, friend, to me. It's MZNTeno. MZenteno _LP. Friend, I respect you just for being Chester Bennington's son, but seriously, your face, your gestures, the way you express yourself really shows that your mental stability is on the rocks. Go to therapy. This is what Mike Duck originally said. Please, not all the world is your enemy. No offense. Take care of your mental health, please. Too much respect to you. Which is why I thought they were being rude, but they clarified that that's not what they meant to say. So I, again, clarified on their intentions. But this M. Zenteno guy never said anything. And this has been a thing that I've been fighting this entire time. Sean Dowdell has said the same thing. Ryan Shuck has said the same thing. My mother, Elka, has said the same thing. Isaiah, my brother, has said the same thing. Draven, my brother, has said the same thing. Like, everybody that I could possibly know has told me that I'm sick and I need to get help. Here's the Dreaming Insomniacs. Thank you guys for having my back over here. And then Just Another Iger was trying to say that I never denied the claim that Samantha made against me, which wasn't public, by the way, and I'm going to touch on this right now because they had a chance to say something, and there's always a chance to communicate on this, but after what was done to me just a couple of weeks ago by Samantha, I'm not going to allow her to say something like that about me, show no evidence, not even say it publicly. The only reason anybody knows that Samantha accused me of, quote, sexually assaulting my younger cousin is because I told people. The same way I told people on Ryan and Sean, I told people on Samantha. But also, with that being said, I journaled it so that it's here for my own validation, because these people will literally drive you crazy. You'll think that this never happened in a week. Especially because you don't ever see them when it's happening. This is all digital. All of these things that I've talked about so far are digital. It's like talking to ghosts. But I said to Just Another Iger, actually, I did deny the allegation. We're going to talk about the word allegation here in a second. But I also hold space for the victim. Both are possible. Look at you here, proving you're exactly the same over and over again. That's a Home Shake song and a Mike Shinoda song. Maybe you are the one who should be doing some math, ... groupie. I also said, where is your proof? As far as I'm made aware of, there is none. I have not been served. I have not received phone calls or text messages from those involved, and I still haven't. Just radio silence. You're always so big on insults and condescension. I wish you would change, truly. This is me still talking to another Iger. Please stop insulting people. That is unnecessary. Again, you seem to be the agitator. They said something else. Oh, we're going back through it. Oh, that's interesting. It showed me, maybe it showed me my comments first. But that's weird. It did doubles, it did it twice. Okay, we came back up on the same thing that we started on. So this person's comments are gone. You can't read what they had said. They deleted all of them, which is expected. These people act this way. So to comment on the allegation, to bring that soggy thing back up, I deny it. There is no allegation. Samantha got mad that I told her no, held my boundary, and made her be nice to me because she reached out to me to give me something. I won't say made her be nice to me. What I'll say is that I wouldn't tolerate disrespect, because that's what happened. She tried to give me this whole fucking thing about how our history wasn't real and we don't really have problems, and that I need to learn how to respect. So I said, don't talk to me like that, and I hung up when she did. It was only after I compared her to certain people in my life who have hurt me in a serious way and refused to change that she dropped that text in my inbox about me having, quote, molested her nephew Jacob, and that in the same text that Draven is not my blood brother and he doesn't want me. Okay. An allegation is not that. That is not an allegation. That is someone speaking from an emotionally reactive state. And I want to say this about Sam real quick. When we reconnected last year, it was because of me. I was going to leave her in the dust because she wasn't responding and because I wasn't sure if she wanted to be a part of this. She wasn't responding because she was made to be responsible for a number of funerals and other type events for those closest to her. So keep this in mind, you know, for as annoying as the situation is or as stunning as it can be, it's important to keep in mind that Samantha, even now, right now, is someone who is grieving, someone who is working things out for themselves internally. I would not say that what Samantha said to me was what she meant, but it could be. I don't know. We'll have to have her give her 2 cents to find out. And I wouldn't even know it because I'm blocked on pretty much all social media that matters for anybody, or I get a non-response. So I want to say that about Samantha because I don't want to dismiss her reality. She is really actually going through things. And this is all very shocking. I'm a shocking person, okay? I make music that electrifies, though. She makes music that pacifies, okay? And that's actually what we ended up fighting about. Because when I told her, or arguing about, because when I told her that the reason she walked away from all of this, she chose that, is because she was scared to die. She's afraid that the Illuminati will kill her, and she claims that they came after her when Chester died and she had to flee not only the state but the country for a while, okay? So, it's not just a bad reaction. There's more to it. And this is all stuff that I've talked about before. This is all stuff from like the past. But it is something worth bringing to the surface now, considering that she has accused me of sexually assaulting my younger cousin for no other reason than to tell me that my brother isn't my brother and that basically she hates me. That's fine. That's okay. It really is, especially if it comes from a place of grief, because that's not you. That's pain. And though your pain is a part of self, it is not all of self. Your experience does not define you. So, yeah. Okay. So no allegation was ever made. Period. I deny it if it is something worth considering as an allegation, that what she said is true. She does not speak for Draven, and I did the math. There's no real way that could have happened between us. So, although I do hold space for Jacob, I do not hold space for the hateful speech that came from Samantha at a time in which she was emotionally compromised while being emotionally compromised. Yay. Okay, so let's move on here, because just under that, there is Trisha G317, who wrote, "We support you, Mike," fire emoji, looking forward to it. Just Another Iger literally just like flipped out on this person. They were throwing middle finger emojis out. They were telling them like not nice stuff. All those comments are gone. And, you know, you can see it kind of here. Trisha G says, "Why are you commenting to me? My response was to the post and to Mike. I wasn't talking to you," which is true. the thing they were saying was about the thing being posted, which was the journal entry on the 14th of August, or sorry, the 12th of August, 14th. I said, in response to Just Another Iger and in defense of Trisha G, isn't that so funny how those things echo out like that? I stood up for Trish in the first place. Here I am standing up for a different Trish. Knock it off, in all caps. You are an absolute menace. Why do you feel the need to attack everyone around you? Leave this person alone. They are, all caps, literally, they, all caps, literally, normal caps, are speaking, all caps, for themselves. This person is excited to see what Mike is doing. Why are you like this? Eye roll emoji. It's the same emoji I put for my comment on what Mike had said in his diary. You've been doing this thing for years now. I'm going to make sure people know your name. That day, I did let people know that Just Another Iger was continuing 6 months later to be a pain in the ass. So that was my first interaction with LP Live. My second interaction came with, oh, hey, Trey. I don't know you, but I'm happy you're here. Thank you for introducing yourself. And if anybody is here who would like to introduce themselves to the chat, we have plenty of people who love to talk, who are good resources for bouncing off ideas and expressing with. So feel free to introduce yourself and feel free to interact. And that can be in the comments or the live chat, whichever. So I'm trying to remember. So that was the first comment I made. I thought I made a second comment, but it turned out that I actually somehow ended up commenting on the official Instagram timer on the official Linkin Park Instagram profile. How? I don't know. I was only talking to LP Live, okay? So that was my first comment, was the, I can't wait to see what this is, I roll to the journal entry. My second comment was the, bruh, really? I can't wait to see what it is that you've done all this time. No, I'm sorry. Why am I saying that? That was my first comment. It was, eye roll, bruh, really? Well, anyways, can't wait to hear about the lap you've been trapped in. And then I commented on the timer posts. I'm trying to find it. It's not on this one, so maybe it's on number 2. Oh, that's going backwards. Where are my comments at? I'm so confused. Sorry, I this isn't as hard as it looks. I literally can't find my comment. Let's go to my story. That's what that's there for, right? Okay. Let's go to the highlight that I just made called The Vision. Let's see, I think it's in there. Oh. Nope, it's not this one. Damn, I need to make... Let me see if I can add to this one. Because I need to see the stories, but they're in the archive right now, like actually in the archive. So next, stories, let's add some stories to this. So I can see them, because I can't find my comment and I don't want to fucking run around and try to find it. Oh my God, it's crazy how bad the desktop version of Instagram actually is in comparison to the app. I'm still waiting for the stories to load on this highlight, so I can add them to the archived highlight. God. This is so dumb. Would you fucking load? Like, what's your problem, Instagram? Am I gonna have to pull out a whole ass other browser for you to load? That's crazy. Go back. What is this? Okay. Okay, I loaded the stories that I had selected. We're going back in time. Oh, that's right. Okay, well, if I'm going to archive stories in real time, then I'm going to do it the right way, because that was all one highlight. That was the null. That was the null playlist. Let's see. What I need is the white portal playlist. There we go. Let's add to the white portal playlist. Then we can get moving. Sorry, guys. It wasn't supposed to be like this, but then again, it is what it is, and that's all it is. Yeah, that's it. Oh, my voice is so tired. Add you all to the thing. I'll add you all to my thing. It's breaking news. I tricked myself. I ended up posting on their wall. Da da da. Because this situation is really funny, guys. It's really, I know I already talked about it today, but it's worth bringing up again. It really is. Yep. All right, that should be it. Let's go through it. We'll use my story as. Oh my God. Why are you resetting the whole fucking thing? Fuck. Oh my God. Oh, thanks, Lisa. I'll take a bite right now. Thanks for reminding me to eat, Lisa. I really appreciate it, Lisa. This is equally as funny. As I remember it being. Okay, let me go forward so that I can clarify on the messages, because I got it wrong. And it was really funny. But we don't need to confuse it with the wrong thing. We'll just bring the wrong thing up and sequence. Okay. So my first comment was the one on the journal post. It was the, really, I can't wait to see what he's been doing in there. That included the just another Iger attacks and my defending of Trisha. And also I had posted, I had like waited to see if LP Live would say anything or step in as a moderator, and they didn't. Like, I posted that. I said, only time will tell. We'll see if they apologize. And they did not. Or even try to step in, and they did not. Even to this day, they have not. They have responded to other people's comments, but they have not acknowledged what the situation was. The second comment that I left was, this post feels a little out of place, if I'm being honest. I don't know if you are aware, but recently I commented about your failure to create an inclusive environment for everyone here participating in LP Live. So, yeah. And then under that I wrote, also, where is Rob Borden? Why hasn't he said anything about this, public statement or otherwise? I know Rob doesn't do social media, guys. All the fans want to tell me, well, he doesn't have social media. I know. But you wouldn't offer a letter, you don't have a publicist, nothing? Weird. Because he's in this picture. And this comment was in response to the caption. And so there's a photo that LP Live put up on, oh, you're gonna make me do it. Well, I could probably come in from different tabs. So LP Live had posted, I'm trying to see what day, real quick, because I don't want to say it unless I know the day. La 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 la. It was today, I think. 12 hours ago? It was 12 hours ago. They posted a photo of Brad Delson with the Illuminati rock fingers, Dave Farrell Phoenix, Mike Shinoda, or Kenji, Rob Borden. No, my food's fine. I'd rather eat it cold than waste the energy it would take to go reheat it just for it to be cold again. And Joe Hahn, Mr. Hahn. The caption read, whatever happens or doesn't happen with Linkin Park, it costs nothing to be kind and respectful. As difficult as these 7 years have been for fans, that is nothing compared to what Linkin Park has been through as a band. Now is when they need the support. We are with them. Hashtag Linkin Park. Again, my comment was, this post feels a little out of place, if I'm being honest. I don't know if you are aware, but recently I commented about your failure to create an inclusive environment for everyone here participating in LP Live, right? They let Trisha get attacked, bro. They didn't even try. So weird. Then I brought up the thing about Rob because all the other guys, Joe, Mike, Dave, and Brad, are all on record, apparently, as sharing that countdown. But Rob is somebody who's not online, which is why I said a letter wouldn't work, question mark. So yeah, so I commented on Mike's initial post, August 12th, and I said what I said, and then I went through what I went through, and I mediated their comment section on my own in defense of that person who was being attacked and myself. There was no acknowledgement of that going on. There was no stepping in to lay a law of the land down. We don't talk to people this way. We don't interact this way. There was nothing. And then they made all these other posts, and then 12 hours ago, they decided to say whatever happens or doesn't happen with Linkin Park, it costs nothing to be kind and respectful. It's like, what? I'm Chester's oldest son. I'm commenting on these posts because they're shocking, and I'm spectating like anybody else. And for you to not acknowledge the family at all, but acknowledge how hard that it's been for fans and the band is like weird. You know, I get it's a Stan account, sure. but like, you have no heart? You're really just about the music? I don't think you understand what the music is, man. It's never been about the music. The music is about life. I don't think you understand that. Anyways, I was contacted by somebody in my, because I posted a comment, so I thought I posted a third comment on LP Live. I only posted those two. That's why I was confused today. I was like, they deleted my comment, and I even told them that they did. But they didn't do it, okay? They didn't delete my comment. I didn't write the comment on the LP Live post. Somehow, I wrote the fucking comment on the actual Linkin Park Instagram page. On the actual timer. What the fuck? And it's not that I was being indirect or trying to hide anything, and so I'm freaking out. No, I said what I said. It's that I thought I was talking to LP Live. So I ended up saying that LP Live did something they didn't do, and then had to clarify and apologize, which I did. But anyways, I posted an Eric Andre gif on the countdown timer, because I thought it was LP Live. And it's just him like, a fucking crazy ass face he makes. Eric Andre is a real goat, okay? And I know that we just passed the 90-minute mark, but we're gonna be here for a little longer because the update was so long and I had to spend time fucking with this, okay? And there were some responses. Woodlands, which I believe is Amy, they gave me the thumb up emoji. Basically, the Eric Andre gif was just another dimensional expression, or a hyper-dimensional expression of the rolling the eyes emoji, right? And then this person named Susie Rabeck, I'm going to say that's how you say it, said, "You know something," with the hands covering the eyes emoji. And thinking I was on LP Live, I gave an actual response because I'm just spectating. I'm not trying to like say nothing to them right now, the band. I would be happy to talk to them, but at this point I'm just waiting to see. I'm processing my own emotions and expressions, like, or my own emotions and experiences, because I tagged Linkin Park last year when I started talking online again, multiple times. Huh? No, Trey, you're not being muted. I can see your comments, but I'm just going to roll through things. I don't think you're muted. I don't know how you could be. I'm the only one who moderates this, so. But I wrote in response to this person who said, "You know something." I said, "Bruh, I'm so dry over here that just the other day I was moderating the Mike's 8/12/24 diary entry LP Live post comment section on my own. Not only was I interacted with in a certain way, but one of Samantha Bennington's groupies decided to bully one of Mike's supporters for being excited about the, quote, new plans made in a lab over many summers. I defended myself as well as Mike's supporter, and even checked back multiple times over a few days to see if LP Live would step in to set/enforce a standard of respectful/neutral interaction. Chester's oldest son, or not one time did LP Live step in to help. Not once did LP Live acknowledge my presence. The truth is, though there are likely many reasons to not involve or inform Chester's child of LP's next moves, however I know and they know, though there are likely many reasons to not involve or inform Chester's child of LP's next moves. However I know and they know, I think that was clear in my mind when I wrote it, but this is a pretty coherent response. A few typos is like no big deal. Though there are likely many reasons to not involve or inform Chester's child of Linkin Park's next moves. I think what I meant to say was I'm sure there are many reasons to not involve or inform Chester's child of Linkin Park's next moves. Not though there are likely. I'm sure there are many, right? However, I know and they know that I have a history of resistance I do not agree with the way that my father's legacy has been handled on all sides. I am vocal about it, and I bring receipts. In my opinion, they don't want me involved, because if my opinion truly mattered, one, there would be no more Linkin Park, no box sets, no random singles being found or manufactured and then released years after his death. Talking about Friendly Fire, Lost. Which there's some weird stuff about that Friendly Fire. There's stuff weird about Lost as well, but that's more excusable than Friendly Fire. Because if I remember on Twitch, Mike Shinoda, many years back, said that they had a song that was virtually mastered and finished, just like he described Lost as being generally mastered and finished. Okay, mastered and mixed. They then, in a featurette, him and Brad said that they had to recreate parts of the song, I believe, and that they had to create parts of the song in order to finish it. So either they did that all the way back and they were just holding on to Friendly Fire, or Mike said something that wasn't entirely true on a Twitch, and then, which is a live stream. That's a good question, Trey. I'll get there. It means either that Mike Shinoda and Brad put the song together before Mike said something, but it would have been, it means that Mike and Brad, in my mind, it means that there are two realities here. They could be, the reality itself could be a mixture of both things, or it could be one or the other, okay? Or it could be something else, but this is what I thought of, okay? Using only deductive reasoning and the information that was given to us. What I have projected is that after Chester died, Mike and Brad went into the studio, filmed a featurette where they put together the song. They basically documented their process of going through the One More Light demos and things that they were looking at for the album that they were thinking about sharing with people, because keep in mind that something that Mike also said was that they had probably almost yeah, Sandra, you're correct. They said magic tricks. I think there was an interview where, what was that information that just came to the surface? It just disappeared. So either they documented the songwriting process when they were going through the effort of listening to their old stuff and listening to the stuff that was cut out of One More Light. Now keep in mind that it was either that same Twitch or a different live event or interview that Mike did. He said that they had probably enough music to make an entirely new album. That actually, in reality, One More Light is twice as long as it is as a final product. So that's really interesting. So either during this process, they filmed or documented themselves putting the pieces together, filling out the holes in the song. And then they held on to it until it was time to let it go, if it ever was time. And they just happened to say that it was time. And they released the song. Okay? The song is super sus, by the way. Like, the lyrics and stuff are weird. And we'll get back to the comment, I promise. But the alternative to that situation is that they used magic tricks in today's day and age to piece the song together, which means they did it 6 or 7 years, about 6 and 7 years, like 6.5 years. After Chester's passing, they went back and created a song out of the remains of a different song that was cut from the album before it was released. And there's some interesting things to think about this, because when you look at the anniversary box sets, it is interesting to see that they're including LPU material. they're including unreleased tracks. And today's research item is going to be about someone involved in the Hybrid Theory box set who did not get credit or royalties for his work for 20 years. Okay? With the box set came new singles because Friendly Fire counts. So they did Hybrid Theory, then they did Meteora box set, and then they also released Friendly Fire. And now they're coming back. And we'll get to the rest of them coming back and all that later. Yeah, we're talking about Kyle Christner today, one of the bassists for Linkin Park in the past. I forgot about his situation because I saw the initiation of the lawsuit in November of last year, but I didn't know when it ended. And it turned out that the litigation only happened from November of 2023 to the end of March 2024 this year. How interesting. So we're going to talk about that. But when you look at the box sets, what you see is a bunch of unreleased music, because in reality, when you release unreleased music, you're releasing new music, correct? So not only were they releasing new singles, but they were also releasing tons of unreleased brand new music. Okay. We also saw the introduction of one of the first fully AI generated music videos that Linkin Park has produced. And so when Brad and Mike come around with a Friendly Feature documentary saying that, or documentation saying that, quote, magic tricks were performed, I just feel like we're erring more on the side of option 2 being the reality, not option 1. And if option 1 is true, that's genuinely diabolical. Okay. If they held on to that song for almost 7 years before putting it out, and you know what? I never include this in the timeline, but also, after all of that came the paper cuts. You know what I'm talking about, green vinyl, the paper cuts. So there's just stuff to think about, just the way that the band has handled the music, their social interactions. And this is why I don't have anything to say to anybody in the band right now, is because I'm genuinely processing what the fuck is going on. So that covered the, if people truly valued my opinion, there would be no more Linkin Park. It's not because Linkin Park shouldn't exist. It's because Linkin Park refuses to acknowledge the world that they exist in my opinion. 2, there would be no more Gray Days, no more #4UChester tour, no Rock Band DLC. As we all know, me and Sean Dowdell have a tried and tested relationship. It's usually pretty shitty. Okay? He at first appeared to be an ally, but as time wore on, he kind of just became the real Sean. In my opinion, this is the story I've heard the most about Sean. I'm not saying this is Sean forever, but I'm saying that right now Sean is what he is. He tried to gaslight me into a fist fight over what was meant to be perceived as a Rock Band video game DLC deal. Not this March of 24, but March of 23. I called him out for it. I stood my ground very firmly on it. And I was attacked by him for commenting that I did not appreciate the way that they were choosing to handle their tour. Because, for one, he spent 1 year and 3 months ignoring me, avoiding eye contact, even though I was literally calling him out and saying, hey, motherfucker, you're going to try to threaten me? You threaten my father, you threaten me? Look at me. No, you don't want to. And the only time he did that, look at me. is when I did the sellouts post. And then he went through the Grade A's official handle and his Grade A personal handle. Oh, sorry, he went through the Grade A's official handle on Instagram and then through his personal handle and told me virtually the same thing with slight alterations. All of it boiled down to the mainstream narrative against me, the one that's been crafted carefully. So that's what the no rock band DLC deal means. It means that he used my father as a shield to avoid the consequence of his action, just to emotionally react and fall on his own sword in the process. And again, I'm just surprised that people have not shut down Grade A's on an interaction basis. I'm not that surprised. I mean, Linkin Park fan sites like LP Live are literally ignoring me and allowing me to be treated a certain way. So it makes sense that it's more of a widespread issue, but Crimson said I don't like cover bands. Yeah, I don't mind them. I think that, though, if you're going to be in one, you need to say that you are in one. And Sean Dowdell is now officially in a cover band by my book. So, 3, my father's solo project, Dead by Sunrise, would not have been permitted to press and disseminate anniversary vinyl this last June of 2024, which also happened to be the same month that Mike Shinoda celebrated the 6-year anniversary of his debut solo album, which is not entirely true. If you consider Fort Minor to be something different. It's weird because to me, Fort Minor has always been Mike's band, his solo act, just the same way like Dead by Sunrise was Chester's solo act. But he claims that it's a whole separate entity. It's its own band. So I don't really know much about that, I admit. It could be either or, I'm not sure. And it's not that I'm against the Dead by Sunrise vinyl. What I'm against is the selling out of my father's soul for stupid profit. Like, money doesn't mean shit. It means everything in this world, but it's the least important thing. It's the least meaningful thing. Like, it's just empty. And so I would have signed off on Dead by Sunrise. I don't know why he didn't do an Arizona show. I'm not against the vinyl being pressed and disseminated. What I'm against is the way it was, done. Because I'm over here being ignored. And my father's solo project, as in only Chester should be able to say anything about it. Those are his songs, his life, his world. It's being reprinted by people who aren't him. People who have been mean to me. You know what I mean? Like, just like thinking about all of his friends, all of his colleagues. They're just not very nice. Lisa, I'm talking about number 3 in my response to Sissy Rabeck, which is on the official, it's my official comment, sorry, it's my comment on the official Linkin Park countdown timer on Instagram. And you guys can all follow along in the highlights. They are updated. So if you go to Instagram, you can go look at the ones I'm looking at in the white portal, the most recent white portal collection. So I'm not against the pressing and disseminating of this material, but I am against the way it's being done. So that's it. The second part of my response was, and so on. You're right. You're right. I do know something. I'll get back to you, Trey. I have never been and am not in the loop, nor have I received an invitation to be. I genuinely have no idea what their true intent is. All I've got in my mind is information that they've released to the public through this timer posting. If you are interested in hearing my thoughts on what has been shared with the public, I will hold a live event tomorrow on YouTube. You are all invited. And then somebody asked me, if this is true, what you just said, Jamie, then why did you agree to do vocals for Grey Days? And why were you in the music video? To clarify, I wasn't just in the music video. The music video is a real depiction of my posthumous relationship with my father. That's what that video is. It's about my spiritual ascension and awakening. It's about talking to ghosts. It's real. That's all real. All that stuff that's depicted in there is stuff that actually happened in a house in which he actually lived, in an area that he actually wanted to die in. Chester. And I said, great question. At the time, I thought the people in my life were genuine in their intention to celebrate my father's legacy. If you would like to know more, I've spoken at great length about various aspects of that interaction with Grey Days. You can find the picture pieces across my social media. Happy hunting. They said, thank you, I'll definitely look into this. I gave my apology after that. So that was pretty funny, to be totally honest. I thought LP Live deleted my comment, but in reality, I accidentally posted on the official countdown timer on the Linkin Park page. And I ended up giving that response in front of everybody. So to get back to you, Trey, no. And actually, right now, I'll read to you my interaction with Linkin Park. So I reached out to them. Just so you all know, on 11/11/23, November 11th, 2023, around the same time that Kyle Christner launched his lawsuit against Linkin Park, I mentioned Linkin Park in my story. So they knew from as far back as November that I was going through this, as a band, as an entity, as a business. They knew, and they never responded. And then I added them or mentioned them when I clarified on which comments were LP Live and which comment was the Linkin Park official. And I realized they're probably not going to look, and if they do, they're just going to look at that one moment, and that would just be showing them a comment from their comment section, which they would already know about. So I decided to go and clarify. I wrote, hi. Just wanted to let you know that this comment was meant for LP Live. I did not know and currently do not know how I ended up posting to the official account. With that being said, I want to say that my intention of posting to LP Live was not to be indirect in my interaction with the band. LP Live was the source of the information about the countdown timer because I was following them. Though I do intend to speak with Mike and the guys in the band eventually, at this moment I wish only to observe. I was spectating along with everyone else, processing my experiences and emotions around the potential of this announcement. The reason I'm clarifying is because my intention may not be apparent in the most recent post, in parentheses, above. Also, all these years I was under the impression that LP Live was an official arm of Linkin Park. I'm not sure how valid that is anymore. I had an odd interaction with them the other day. The broad perspective on that interaction is also in my story. An invitation to look. That was an invitation to look. Thank you for your time. No response yet. So, that's how I felt about that. Did I feel awkward about posting to Linkin Park? No. Did I feel awkward for accusing LP Live of deleting my comment? A little bit. I didn't feel like that was fair. So, but it ended up being funny. So, that's nice. Okay, so that's what happened today. In general, I've been following LP Live and the Linkin Park posting. So let's go ahead and talk about, before we talk about Kyle Christner, let's talk about what was actually posted, or even, let's look at what was documented by LP Live in terms of Linkin Park official posts. So going back to Linkin Park Live, the first day, 3 days ago, on the 24th, there were a burst of 3 posts. Again, the initial countdown, the update about Linkin Park Underground, and the Rock Festival acknowledgement. So again, a music festival in Florida has claimed to be super excited about their upcoming lineup in 2025. They hashtagged Linkin Park, and they posted the official timer to their story. Or they, yeah, I think it's just their story. Yep. The next day, on the 25th, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts. Okay? So let's go through those posts. What were they? One post is captioned with the sunglasses emoji. It's Mike Shinoda's official Instagram with the timer. Mr. Han posts, "What is this? We need to talk," as if he doesn't know. There are 18 replies to that, and then Mike Shinoda responds, "Dave and Brad told me to post it. I have no idea what's going on." Okay? Let's move on. We'll backtrack. The second post of 5 posts is captioned, "Alan Ashcroft, a designer that works on art direction, branding, album design, merch design, etc., has posted that he is involved in the upcoming Linkin Park 0 with a slash through it Unicode symbol reveal, which stands for null or nothing, but we'll get to that. Alan has done design work for rock bands like Nickelback, Rise Against, Jimmy Eat World, Seven Dust, and more." And it's a posting of Alan Ashcroft's official acknowledgement of the Linkin Park timer. They write, "Looking forward to sharing some stuff I've been working on for this." A Pineapple fan account, writes in response to that, I'm assuming this is a tweet, because that looks like Twitter. It looks like X. X marks the spot, bitch. We have the symbol equals 0 with an X equals Linkin Park. Okay, I need a moment here. That's what a Pineapple fan account wrote in response to Alan Ashcroft acknowledging their involvement in Linkin Park. They gave a definition that reads, "The letter 0 or O with a dash through it is sometimes used in mathematics as a replacement for the symbol, which is the Unicode character U plus 2205, referring to the empty set as established by Bourbaki." I don't know how to say that, but that's the way I'm going to say it. "And sometimes in linguistics, as a replacement for the symbol used to represent 0. Okay? And Alan responded, "You are close, period," and eyeball emoji. And then he showed a couple of, I accidentally liked the post for Nickelback, or the slide for Nickelback, which means I liked the entire post for Alan Ashcroft just now. But that's okay. Or I liked, no, that's not true at all. This is confusing. There's like a carousel within the bigger frame, and with the arrows, I'm getting like dyslexic confused. I actually ended up liking the LP Live post, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm not even going to take it away. Sure. I find that interesting. The third posting is a screenshot of Linkin Park's YouTube countdown, which, let's go look at that real quick. Let's see what the counter is now at. There it is. No, this one goes back to 02? Ugh. Okay, it's not apparent and obvious where this timer is. I see it here in the shorts, but when you click on it, it is just... it's just not there. It goes back to 100, so we're not going to toil with that. Oh, you know what? This might be accessed through Linkin Park Underground, to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it. The caption on this third post is, in case you missed it, Linkin Park's countdown video timer is titled, they put the symbol, 2205, which generally refers to quote-unquote null, quote-unquote nothing. Now, Alan Ashcroft themselves said that this is close to what they're trying to express, but it's not exactly what they're trying to express. So I'm not going to put too much weight on this particular thing that I've realized. When we backtrack, I'll tell you. But it is something worth acknowledging. And then here is the fourth posting, which is captioned, it's the Brad Delson story posting for the official Linkin Park timer. It says, captioned, it is captioned, update, Brad Delson has now shared Linkin Park's countdown timer, set for Wednesday. Brad joins Mike Shinoda, Dave Farrell, and Joe Hahn in sharing the countdown. Rob Borden does not post on social media. This is not an official Linkin Park acknowledgement of Rob Borden, just so we all are clear. This is a Stan account that at one point, or maybe even still, acted as a Linkin Park ambassador group or profile, okay? They're saying that Rob does not post on social media, okay? Below that, they write that others have also shared the post, okay? The last one is, the last post of the 5 is a picture of Mike Shinoda tweeting on X the timer emoji. So that's all that was for that day, which was the 25th of August. So let's go back to the beginning of that 5 burst post. First of all, let's talk about Mike Shinoda being catty in the comments with Mr. Hahn about Dave and Brad. I cannot stress to you guys how important it is that we talk about the ways in which they play games with their audience. They talk in codes, they always have, and they try to gain hype by being mysterious. And it's not even being mysterious. I mean, at this point, the actual energy behind Linkin Park coming back is like electrifying. It's not even, you know, it's not even something to like shrug off, okay? It's a full-ass snowball turned into like the biggest ball of snow you've ever seen rolling down the biggest mountain you've ever seen, okay? It's weird to me that Mr. Joe Hahn commented, "What is this? We need to talk," as if he didn't know what was going on, as if Linkin Park as an entity would not communicate within itself, okay? So we have to pull in information from the first round of posts, which was on the 24th, which was 3 posts, right? What were those 3 posts? Let's go back real quick. It was an acknowledgement of the timer, an LPU underground update, and an invitation to join, and it was finally the rock festival. So you're telling me that the rock festival in Florida is heavily implying that Linkin Park is involved in shows for next year, or a lineup for next year, that Mr. Hahn didn't know about this is weird. To think that he could also be saying that he didn't know about that, or that Mike might be saying he didn't know about that. That's something to acknowledge. Then here we are, and he's saying we need to talk. So it's like, wait, you don't know what's going on with the timer, and you haven't talked to anybody? Huh. Weird, weird, weird. Especially since Linkin Park is such a unified field. And then Mike Shinoda had the audacity to say, Dave and Brad told me to post it. I have no idea what's going on. You are maybe it's because I know them that I'm feeling like, kind of like gaslit here. Mike Shinoda doesn't do what people tell him to do. He's Mike. For him to say that Dave and Brad were responsible for the timer, that he initiated the timer and is now waiting for the timer to count down all the way, but he has no idea why the timer exists, what it counts down to, and he's just doing it on someone else's demand, is weird. That's not mysterious. That's like almost as catastrophic in potential as like your friends are like, jump off a bridge. You're like, okay. But anyways, there's the rock festival. So let me back up. Anyways, there's the official timer. There's the acknowledgement of the official timer by Joe. No, I haven't, Trey. That's a good question. I will be doing commentary. That's part of my research process, by the way. I didn't say that, but that is what's going to be done, because I'm going to be talking about things. I'm even going to do album reviews. Yay! Which I already talked about before, so I seeded it, okay? So we have the timer acknowledgement, the acknowledgement of the timer, which are different things. Sorry, we have maybe this is a better word. We have the establishment of the timer. We have the acknowledgement of the timer by Mike, Dave, Brad, and Joe, two of which were acting aloof to the entire situation, which is very bizarre and not funny and not cute and very strange. I have been informed of none of this, by the way. I'm finding out totally cold over here. And on top of that, we have the rock festival hinting at the fact that Linkin Park is going to play next year. And then now we have a guy named Alan Ashcroft, who is known for rebranding big bands, saying that he's been working on a project with them that, for all intents and purposes, and of course, you know, is meant to be defined more clearly at a different point in time, means null or nothing. Which is very interesting, because let's all take a moment to think about me. What did I call my platform before I was able to establish the Picture Pieces archive? Anybody? I'm gonna take a bite of my food now. My cold ass panda chow meat. Anybody? What do I call myself? I just said it in the stream. I said, a chant. It is a chant. What do I say? You know. What was the documentarian effort that captured the entire transitional period that we just went through? I know we got some regulars here. Anybody? It's just like me on Instagram. Anybody want to share some art? I'm trying to see how you're paying attention right now. I is the wormhole. This is the void, as in null or nothing. So no response from the band. No chosen interactions. I had a falling out with Anna Shinoda. Mike did not want to comment on that. They're ignoring my story and my postings on social media, even though they know I'm here. After all these years of experimenting with different forms of rolling out products, which included the 2 box sets, the Paper Cuts singles collection from 2000 to 2023, the Lost and Friendly Fire songs, the Lost music video, 4K rollouts of videos, and now a full-fledged, what appears to be a comeback. They got a festival lined up. They've got a brand manager lined up. They've been working on a project with a name and a concept. And they're all acting aloof about it. There's not really anything to say about the Mike posting the timer on his page. But it is interesting to think that they said others have also shared their posts. I'm interested to see who else shared their posts. And then there is today and yesterday, which would be the 6th and 26th and 27th of August. There's one post on the 26th, and it was an acknowledgement of the timer counting down. Yeah, fire that question off, Trey. I'll get back to you. And then today there's 1, 2, 3, 4 posts, most of which are just acknowledging the timer. But one is Happy Oasis Day. Tomorrow it's us, which is what Linkin Park Live tweeted. And then there's the picture of the band under which I wrote, "This post feels a little out of place." Then they have one more acknowledgement of the YouTube timer, which I'm guessing is LPU. And then they have one more acknowledgement about the situation as a whole. So I thought all of that was really interesting because I really only know what the public knows. They didn't inform me of anything. I haven't heard anything from the band in a very long time. I'm on the outs with one of the members, Mike Shinoda in specific, because of my falling out with his wife and his refusal to take that seriously or take any kind of like initiative in making things work, or understanding the situation. I see you, Crimson. You're dangerous. I don't know. It's bizarre. Like, I said this with Sean Dowdell. His response to Mace was so fucking weird. Did I said it to Sean? I said it about Sean while I was reading Mace's responses to being kicked out of the band, and Sean's response to Mace, and Kristen's response to me. And the weird thing about Sean's post to Mace on Facebook was that he said that what he had to say about Mace was the cliff notes, because not everything he had written about Mace in terms of the timeline and the context was actually put on Facebook. It was just the cliff notes, which is something that I often say, which was interesting. And then he did that picture with the 5 sets of song lyrics that are specifically Grey Day song lyrics, and it had the word response plastered over it. I was like, this is very clearly a Jamie move. And I feel like Linkin Park is doing the same thing, even if it's subliminal. To make your new project, or to center your new project around a symbol that typically replaces a 0, which is clever because 0 was the original band. But to also have that symbol stand in for the value of null as a null void or nothing, when I've been out here for 2 years now, slowly becoming more and more vocal, more and more verbal, under the "This is the Void" moniker, which was a documentarian effort that I carried out on my own, without any response from this band in particular, or the people that surround Chester and claim to be his closest friends and family. I say Chester, not Che, because we're not talking about Che. We're not talking about posthumous daddy. We're talking about daddy in life. Okay. So, we just covered what happened today. We just covered the LP Life posts themselves, as well as, so my projections on or through the information that we were given on what the announcement could be. It sounds to me in general like Linkin Park is coming back as their own entity. They're going to try to pull the zero card potentially, that they have shows lined up and that they've been planning it for a long time. I mean, Mike himself said, and I misquoted him, by the way, he said that in between summer, the summers were in between longer times. So the summers were breaks from more experimental times throughout the rest of the year, okay? That's what I understand, is that I read it wrong, like literally read it wrong. So that's just very interesting. How do I feel about it? I feel like it's unacceptable. In my opinion, I don't appreciate the way that they have handled my father's legacy. I don't appreciate the way in which they have refused to include me in any conversations or to check up on me or to acknowledge my platform and what I'm saying. This is not the first time I've talked about Linkin Park. This is not the first time I've talked about Mike Shinoda. And I think that I'm really tired of being ignored. I know it's like, well, why does everything have to be about you? Sometimes it can sound like that or feel like that when I have things to say, but because it is my life. This is my dad. Zero wasn't a band for 17 years. Linkin Park was. And in my opinion, every single one of the men in this band is talented enough and smart enough to go do a different thing. They could easily create a project that they could participate in that is all of them and not Linkin Park. Now, with that being said, if they're coming back as Zero and they're changing the name, like I'm about to when I get off this stream, to the Picture Pieces archive over This Is the Void, well, I just don't appreciate it. I don't care. I don't appreciate it. Like this foam mystery, this manufactured aloofness. I just don't like it. I don't appreciate the way they're choosing to roll this out. I don't know why they wouldn't just tell me differently. You know, like, I wouldn't have to say any of this if they had come to me and said, hey, look, we're just going to be Zero. Is that cool with you? Like, how do you feel about that? And then during this whole thing, I could have just kept my mouth shut and watched it all unfold and just had my feelings on it afterwards and said something after the rollout, you know. But no, they didn't want to talk to me about any of it. You know, the last time I talked to Brad was like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. And when I talked to him, I told him everything I was going through up until that point. And there were some very serious things I was going through. And Brad told me that I was immeasurably strong because what I had been through was that serious and that most people don't recover from it. But he was proud of me for doing so. That I should keep on my path to the healing that I've done and will continue to do. But that he recommends I should find a therapist or a psychiatrist because of the intensity of what I was experiencing. Which is why, and these are usually the conversations that I have with these people, you know, they're like kind of reasonable, but also kind of weird in the long run. And I even reached out to him. Oh, I'm using my phone. I even reached out to him recently, like within the last 1 or 2 years, just to talk to him. I was like, hey, I hope you're doing well. Like I would just text Brad every once in a while, I hope you're doing well. Because Brad was one of the more amicable people in the group. And I just did appreciate his time and his effort. And I think every time it ends up that way, you know, like Anna was way worse than that, but still, it's kind of the same thing. in some ways as to my conversation with Brad. And I don't know. I don't think I would be happy with them being 0 the way that they've tried to carry it out if they do intend to be 0. I don't want Linkin Park to come back, period, because of the way that they've handled the legacy and choose to treat me like I'm not here. The way that they've ghosted me is so fucking weird. And like, to be honest, I have not reached out to Mike myself. I have not called him and been like, hey, why did this happen? Because in my mind, Mike would have called me after what happened with Anna. It was that serious. I said Mandel Moreno in my most recent interaction with him reminded me of being Anna Shinoda, because it was like, literally, like you saw how bad that was with Mandel well, you can't see it now because the video's blocked. But I read out, for those of you who were here, I read out the messages that we had between us about Samantha, because Samantha did her thing. And he said some really mean shit to me. And made me, he said some crazy shit to me. And it was very much so in the vein of what Anna Shinoda said to me and how Anna Shinoda treated me the last time I went to her for help. And if they're married and they truly do care about my father and our family, I don't understand why he wouldn't say something on his own. Nothing. Radio silence from Mike. Okay, you're right, Lisa. I'll take a bite. So all around, I think the situation is pretty annoying, and I don't appreciate a lot of it. And it's not because I'm a hater. I am a hater, but it's not because I'm a hater. It's because I'm a child in this situation, and I don't appreciate it. Save the children. Okay. Let's move on to the article. Okay, we're gonna open this up in a new tab. Open this one up in a new tab. We're gonna read through them, and I'll talk to you about it. So, in November of last year, a man named Kyle Christner initiated a lawsuit against Linkin Park. The lawsuit was dismissed out of court. A dismissal was filed by Linkin Park, and it was successful. And he received none of what he came in for. And the situation's very strange. So what we're going to do is we're going to read through both articles, the initiation of the lawsuit and the conclusion of the lawsuit, okay? Now, to be clear, let's see. When did he do it? I don't see a date, so it may just be the date of this article, which was written November 10th, 2023. The article headline is, ex-Linkin Park bassist Kyle Christner sues band over alleged unpaid royalties on more than 20 songs. I'm just going to say right now, it is unfair that is what the title of this article is, because it is not just royalties that he was looking for. He was looking for just full-on credit, as in his name wasn't on the piece of art he created for some reason. But we'll get into that in a bit. The article reads, former Linkin Park bassist Kyle Christner has reportedly filed a lawsuit against the band, alleging unpaid royalties regarding more than 20 songs that are a part of the 20th anniversary edition Hybrid Theory box set. I was wrong about the 10 years. It was actually a 20-year anniversary box set for both Meteora and Hybrid Theory. Christner was briefly part of Linkin Park, serving as their bassist in 1999 during the evolution of Zero into Linkin Park. That's not in the article, that last little sentence, but it is true. In the legal filing, as obtained and reported by Rolling Stone, Christner notes that during his time in the band, he played a showcase for Warner Records Incorporated, which later secured their record deal, Linkin Park's record deal, and contends that he collaborated with Linkin Park and helped compose some of their earliest songs. Contends. I love that word. Rolling Stone reports that Christner was contacted by one of Linkin Park's former managers. This manager informed the bassist that his recorded work appears on parts of the 20th anniversary box set edition of the group's debut album, Hybrid Theory. It is alleged that this manager told Christner he is owed royalties, and that when the bassist reached out to Machine Shop, Linkin Park's management company, which is also Mike's company, they went dark, quote unquote, went dark, after acknowledging that the communication was received. The unnamed former manager is said to have told Christner that regarding the Hybrid Theory anniversary box set contents, he is owed money on 3 demos. What, Trey? What are you talking about? What do you mean? The whole point of being here is to talk about this. Why would this not be important? Kyle Christner is fucking important. Linkin Park would like for him to not seem important, but he's really important, especially when you consider some of the issues we were all facing in terms of understanding who wrote what when Chester died. Yeah, it's super important. The unnamed former manager is said to have told Christner that regarding the Hybrid Theory anniversary box set contents, he is owed money on 3 demos and the Hybrid Theory EP, which is 6 songs in total. Christner contends his recorded work appears on more than 20 songs, including She Couldn't, Chair, Blue, and Step Up. Also, there's a song called Could Have Been, which was released on YouTube and gained over 1 million likes at this point, or 1 million views, I believe. Rolling Stone quotes the legal filing as stating, quote unquote, in fact, Christner appears to have played on at least tracks 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the forgotten demos. Tracks 1, 2, 7, 13, 14, 16, 17 of LPU Rarities, and track 7 of the B-side Rarities, as well as the Hybrid Theory EP. Guys, listen to that. On at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks. He's claiming that he was on and involved in the production of at least 10 of the tracks off of the forgotten demos. That he was a part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 additional songs on the LPU Rarities collection. And track 7 of the B-side Rarities, which is 1 track off the B-side Rarities. And the entire Hybrid Theory demo, which is 6 songs. 6. That's what? What the fuck is 18 plus 6? 2, 4, 10, 14? That's 24? It's like 24 songs, right? Am I doing the math? It has to be. So he's not saying it's 20 plus. He's saying it's 26. Okay, so that was in November. Let's jump over to the And that, by the way, that article came from Loudwire, if you want to look at it yourselves. And then there is the article published all over the internet, but this is the only actual article. It's just repeated reportings on the same thing. I'm getting this one from Metal Injection. I'll read it and see if it is what I think it is, but most of these are copy-paste. The title of the article is Linkin Park Settles Lawsuit with Former Bassist Kyle Christner, and quote unquote, amicable resolution has been reached. This article was released March 29th, 2024. No, I know, that's what I was saying, Trey, is that a lot of these articles are the same article under different names. It's a lot of people just reporting on one story. Like the Loudwire article is not the actual source. It is a reporting on a source that was released and commented on originally by Rolling Stone. So yeah, it's all over the place, but it's really not all over the place because it's really just one article being copy and pasted. The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court for the Central... Sorry. The article reads, former Linkin Park bassist Kyle Christner filed a lawsuit against the band in November of 2023 over writing credits and unpaid royalties for material written in the late 90s. So what's different between this article and the last article is that in November, they were saying he just wanted royalties, which was untrue. He was also looking for writing credits. So his name wasn't on the song, is what he's saying. The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court for the Central District of California on November 8th. There you go. So the lawsuit was initiated on November 8th, where Christner said he is a former member of Linkin Park who, quote unquote, collaborated on and recorded numerous songs with the band. Period. Moreover, Christner claimed that the bonus material contained in the 20th anniversary box set edition of Linkin Park's 2000 album, Hybrid Theory, features his writing and playing on more than 20 songs, which is, again, 26, including a previously unreleased track called Could Have Been. Now Linkin Park has issued a statement through their label Warner Records saying an amicable resolution with Christner has been reached. No further details are available regarding the resolution. We are pleased, quote unquote, we are pleased to announce that we have reached an amicable solution with bass guitarist Kyle Christner, said a spokesperson for Linkin Park. Quote unquote, Kyle is a very talented musician who made valuable contributions to Linkin Park at a pivotal time in 1999. He performed with the band in several shows, many record label showcases. Kyle helped write and performed on many songs from the era, including some of the songs off of the Hybrid Theory EP. Linkin Park recently moved to dismiss the lawsuit, saying Christner's claims are, quote unquote, rife with defects. Questioning why Christner chose to sue the band over 20 years later and stating that Christner failed to identify what songs he claimed to have written. Furthermore, Linkin Park's lawyers stated that Christner's claims are barred by the statute of limitations and that the copyright disputes must be filed within 3 years. 3 years. This gets really interesting, guys. This is not the whole story. Okay, we're not even done with this yet. A portion of Christner's lawsuit listed tracks he appeared to have written, stating, quote unquote, Christner appears to have played on at least tracks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the forgotten demos. So that's every single track except for one track. Tracks 1, 2, 7, 13, 14, 16, 17 of LPU Rarities, and track 7 of B-side Rarities, as well as the Hybrid Theory EP itself within the box set. Christner claimed at the time he has, quote unquote, never been paid a penny for his work with Linkin Park, nor has been properly credited, even as his former bandmates have benefited from his creative efforts. further stating that Linkin Park removed his name as far back as the 2001 Fan Club Edition reissue of Hybrid Theory. Insane. That's like a serious claim, guys. He's claiming that they removed him all the way back when Hybrid Theory first came out. But specifically in the Fan Club Edition, in the LPU Hybrid Theory EP release. Fucking insane. I wonder why somebody would randomly say this. Oh wait, they didn't. A former Linkin Park manager pointed them in this direction. Christner claimed, the lawsuit claimed that Christner was originally informed his bass parts were replaced, which he discovered later not to be the case. I'm going to read that again. The lawsuit claimed that Christner was originally informed his bass parts were replaced in the edit, in production, which he discovered later was not the case. Quote unquote, though Christner was once under the misimpression that his bass parts were re-recorded on the EP after he left the band, he has, upon closer review, identified his bass playing on the edition of the EP included in the box set. Read a portion of the lawsuit. Linkin Park members Mike Shinoda, Rob Borden, Brad Delson, and Joseph Hahn were listed as defendants alongside Machine Shop and Warner Records. Christner is listed as a session and touring musician who played for Linkin Park between 1998, which is actually the year that Grey Daze originally broke up after doing the very, very same label circuit that Linkin Park, Zero was doing at the time, and 1999, as they changed their name from Zero to Hybrid Theory, which is, again, something I pointed out in the other article that wasn't mentioned, is that he was a pivotal part of the evolution from Zero to Hybrid Theory, which then became Linkin Park. This is also the time when vocalist Chester Bennington joined the band, replacing Mark Wakefield, who left in 1998. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. So, after the release of the Hybrid Theory 20-year anniversary box set, an unnamed, and still to this day unnamed, former Linkin Park manager went to a man named Kyle Christner, who acted as a bassist for the band during their evolution from Zero to Hybrid Theory to Linkin Park. He was a key player alongside everyone else in the obtaining of a Warner Brothers record contract, which he was excluded from when he was fired suddenly before they signed the contract. He was told at that time that his parts on the EP had been re-recorded. They had been replaced. And so he was no longer going to receive credit for that work. Since then, Kyle has apparently been pretty quiet about what he didn't get from Linkin Park. And it was only after this manager asked him or told him to go look at the 9 songs that he knew for a fact were Kyle's, or were in fact containing of Kyle's bass parts. So Kyle didn't even try to litigate until a former manager came to him. He launched a lawsuit against Warner Music, Linkin Park as it's defined by Mike, Brad, Joe, and Dave. And he went against Machine Shop, Mike's label. He was dismissed out of court with no credit. For a couple of reasons. Let's talk about those reasons. Upon closer examination, Kyle realized that he actually was owed credit, as in his name needed to be put on the song, as in nobody could tell that he was the bassist if they didn't put his fucking name down, and royalties for at least 26 songs. Remember, he was encouraged to look at 9 songs. He, upon closer investigation, found 26 songs. Or was it 24? I keep saying 26. It was 18 plus 6. So carry the 2, and you got 24. So it's actually 24. Sorry, I've been saying that wrong. Mental math, you know. It actually ended up being 24 songs, not 9. Okay? That's over twice the amount that he originally went in to investigate. And he found that he had been lied to. They didn't dispute that in this article, that he had been lied to about the deletion of his bass parts and replacement with other bass parts. It turned out that when he looked at the original EP, that his bass was still there as far as it was represented in the box set. On top of that, they didn't even dispute it here. He found out that they had taken his name off of the fan club edition of the Hybrid Theory EP way back when they released it. Before 2000. Okay? And I read a different article about this. I'm going to try to find it real quick because they said some other stuff. I want to see if I can find it before I comment on what he was dismissed. I want to see if I can find the article so I can talk more in depth about the things I read in that article about why his case was dismissed. Because that article was pretty much what it was. Oh, yeah, I think it was the Billboard article. Oh my God, there's so many ads. This is crazy. I'm being like bombarded. What the fuck is this? I can't even read the article now? Jesus Christ, Billboard. Yeah, we're going to read this one, okay? So there are a few different things going on in this article. Some of it will be the same. Ready? This is a literal nightmare. I cannot even read the fucking article, Billboard. The article is titled, Linkin Park Settles Lawsuit Filed by Ex-Bassist Over Band's Debut Album. It was released on April 1st, 2024. The subcaption is, the Rockers have reached an amicable solution with Kyle Christner, acknowledging that he made valuable contributions at a pivotal time. The article reads, Linkin Park has reached a settlement to end a lawsuit that accused the band of refusing to pay royalties to an ex-bassist who briefly played with the band in the late 90s. In a statement issued on Friday, the band said it had reached an amicable resolution with Kyle Christner, who sued the band last year over claims that he had, quote unquote, never been paid a penny for contributions he made during the several months that he was in Linkin Park in 1999. Which, again, it's not Linkin Park yet. I don't know why they were... Maybe it's just confusing for the audience, or maybe they really don't know. I don't know. But Linkin Park wasn't Linkin Park until the end of 99. So it wasn't even Linkin Park when he was in it. Why do I have to be the one to say this? This dispute was sparked by an anniversary re-release of Linkin Park's smash hit 2000 debut album, Hybrid Theory, which holds the distinction as the best-selling rock album of the 21st century. Christner claimed he had contributed some of the material released on the anniversary box set, a claim confirmed by the band in Friday's statement. So they literally said, yes, he's telling the truth. His work is on this. No credits, no royalties, but his work's in the box set. What the fuck? quote unquote, Kyle is a very talented musician who made valuable contributions to Linkin Park at a pivotal time in 1999. Thank you. Really, they should be called Hybrid Theory. So really it should be, in my mind, Kyle is a very talented musician who made valuable contributions to Hybrid Theory at a pivotal time in 1999, which I understand as being a confusing thing for the reader, since one of the things in question is the Hybrid Theory EP, which is the name of the band as the album, which would then become the album itself, and then band name would change from Hybrid Theory to Linkin Park. So it really would be Kyle Christner was a part of Hybrid Theory, which became Linkin Park. But the confusion probably is in the fact that they're not only talking about the Hybrid Theory EP, but also the Hybrid Theory album. But I'm sure there's a way to say it. The statement was occupied by a joint filing in court seeking to formally end the lawsuit, signed by attorneys for both Christner and for Mike Shinoda and other Linkin Park band members. That's interesting to me that they separated Mike like that. Christner's attorneys did not return a request for comment on Monday. So in April of this year, Billboard tried to talk to Kyle Christner, and he did not talk to them. Christner sued in November, claiming he had been a member of the band for several months in 1999 until he was, quote-unquote, abruptly informed that he had been fired shortly before the band signed a record deal with Warner Records. There's that information I was looking for. He accused the band of continuing to profit from songs he helped create while effectively erasing his involvement. Quote-unquote, Christner has never been paid a penny for his work with Linkin Park, nor has he been properly credited, even as defendants have benefited from his creative efforts. That's what Christner's lawyers wrote at the time. In addition to Shinoda, the lawsuit also named Linkin Park's other living members, Rob Borden, Brad Delson, and Joseph Hahn, as well as its business entity, Machine Shop Entertainment, and the band's label, Warner Records, or Warner Music Group. I'm sure they used a different name because there was a big merger way back when. I don't know if you know this, but Linkin Park actually litigated against Warner Records because they did not consider, the label did not consider Collision Course, featuring Jay-Z, to be one of the albums eligible by contract. They said, nope, Collision Course does not exist as a real album. You guys need to make us the album that you promised. So where they thought that they might be able to shorten their record deal to get an album out of the way through Collision Course, Warner Music Group said, nah. And the band ended up, I believe, losing that litigation in some form or fashion, but also kind of winning. One More Light and The Hunting Party are both albums that were added onto the contract, which ended 17 years later. Or, well, I guess if it was 2006 that they litigated, it would be 14 years? 14 more years of contractual obligation, and it was around the time that Chester died that contract was up, okay? In particular, Christner pointed to the re-release of Hybrid Theory. He argued that the special box set included several songs to which he had contributed, 24, including a never-before-released demo track that has now amassed, at the time of this article in April of this year, 949,000 views on YouTube. Before Friday's settlement, Linkin Park had been battling to dismiss the case. Let's click on that because that's a hyperlink. What does that say? Okay, let's read this article. So the article that we branched off into here is from March 6th, 2024. It's reported by this is being reported by the same writer, by the same journalist, Bill Donahue, okay? So the article that we just branched from was on April 1st. This article right here is almost a month earlier, March 6th, 2024. The article is titled, Linkin Park wants ex-bassist lawsuit tossed out, arguing he can't sue them decades later. Subtitle, the band says the case filed by a musician who played in the band for just a few months in 1999 is clearly barred by the statute of limitations, which again was 3 years. But okay, before we even move on to talk about the statute of limitations being something that is a thing, a problem in the situation, it's like, exactly, Crimson, I was just gonna say that. So 3 years from 1999, like even if you go halfway through the year, even if you're going from, June and up, all right, that puts you in, let's see, 99 to 2000, 2000 to 2001, 2000 to 2002, 3 years. So even if you were in the middle of the year that you were fired, even if it was in the middle of the year that you were fired, say June of 1999, he would still be owed royalties and credit for these songs, which all existed at the time, all 24 of them, until Meteora was released. So he was actually, during that time period, a part of one of the biggest selling albums in terms of rock and roll ever released. Okay? Ever. All time. Kendrick level. All time streaming records. Except for these were actual discs, cassette tapes, all that shit. So he should have been dialed in. We're going to find out what they had to say about that. I'm trying to keep the same format. The article reads, attorneys for Linkin Park are pushing to end a lawsuit that accuses the band of refusing to pay royalties to an ex-bassist who briefly played with the band in late 1990s, saying such claims have been repudiated for over 2 decades. So let's look at this. Repudiate. Repute. What is the definition of the word repute? According to dictionary, the default pop-up here on Google, we're not going to go too deep into it. The opinion generally held of someone or something, the state of being regarded in a particular way. So let's see, repudiate. Let's see what repudiate means. To refuse to accept something or someone as true, good, or reasonable, reject as having no authority or binding force, cast off or disown, reject with disapproval or condemnation, reject with denial. So let me get this straight. Kyle Christner was offered credit on those songs, all 24 of them, minus the EP, which his parts were reportedly re-recorded with another bass player's parts. Or I guess replaced with another bass player's parts. So he was due for credits and royalties on all 24 songs. He had been lied to about the EP and his bass parts on the EP. They said that they had removed them, they hadn't. And they had taken his name off of the EP in the Fam Club edition. And they're trying to argue here that they did all that because he rejected the credit and the royalties. Do you see that? That's how I'm reading that. They're saying he repudiated. They're saying that he rejected royalties and he rejected credit. But I have a question for you before we move on. Why wouldn't, if that were true, and the statute of limitations is really 3 years, then why would he be encouraged by an unknown former Linkin Park manager, which there are only a couple, to go look at 9 songs, which turned out to be 24 uncredited, unpaid songs on one of the biggest albums of all time. And by the way, these box sets, so that we can get a clear picture of the profit margin here, these box sets with Meteora included, it increased the net profit of the band by like 200, almost 300%. So not only one of the biggest albums of all time of that genre, but also one of the biggest albums today. There's something weird going on here. I just feel it. In a motion to dismiss the case filed Tuesday, March 5th, lawyers for Mike Shinoda and other Linkin Park members say Kyle Christner's lawsuit is, quote, unquote, rife with defects. Among them, they say, is that the statute of limitations on such claims has long since passed. Quote, unquote, plaintiff claims that defendants blank owe him money because he was a member of the band for at least... No, let me read that again. Plaintiff claims that defendants blank owe him money because he was a member of the band for at most 8 months. 25 years ago, it was not paid for his, quote, contributions. Writes Linkin Park's lead counsel, prominent music litigator Edwin F. McPherson. He asserts 3 claims, each of which fails. Before we move on, excuse me, this is what the band had to say about him. This is a litigator speaking on behalf of Linkin Park about Kyle. They said, again, plaintiff claims that defendants owe him money because he was a member of the band for at most 8 months, 25 years ago, and was not paid for his, quote, contributions. Bro. So many things to say about that, but in particular, maybe 2. Why are they talking like they're victim blaming? Like, what the fuck is that? They're belittling his contribution to the band by quoting it. His, quote, contributions. He didn't, quote, contribute. He actually contributed. Something the band did not reject, but accepted and admitted that he did, in fact, have this influence. And they downplay his position in the band. They owe him money because he was a member of the band for at most 8 months, 25 years ago, and was not paid for his contributions. Condescending. That's what I get out of that. He asserts 3 claims, each of which fails. Did they fail? Or did you just find a loophole? Because the statute and all that. Christner sued Linkin Park in November, claiming he had been a member of the band for several months in 1999 until he was abruptly informed that he had been fired shortly before the band signed a contract deal with Warner Records, which, by the way, he helped them get. He accused the band of continuing to profit from songs he helped create while effectively erasing his involvement. Christner has never been paid for his work with Linkin Park, nor has he been properly credited, even as defendants have benefited from his creative efforts, his lawyers wrote in the lawsuit. In addition to Shinoda, the lawsuit also named Linkin Park's other living members, Rob, Brad, Joseph, as well as its business entity Machine Shop and the band's label, Warner Record. The dispute was seemingly triggered by an anniversary re-release of the band's smash hit, which holds the lofty distinction of being the best-selling rock album of the 21st century. But in Tuesday's response, the band's lawyers say those allegations are deeply flawed. Among other issues, they say that the lawsuit failed to clearly identify what songs Christner was involved with and instead relies on open-ended, quote-unquote, open-ended statements, like that he'd likely been involved in numerous songs. I'm sorry, but when we read that initial article, the one about the starting of this lawsuit process, he literally said, there are 24 songs that I played on. He listed them all out for us. what the hell are you talking about? Quote unquote, defendants cannot reasonably be expected to know how to respond to the lawsuit without knowing which copyrights are being addressed. Okay, that sounds like a flat out just rejection. For the songs that were properly identified, the band's attorneys say the lawsuit clearly barred compensation by statute of limitations. Copyright ownership disputes must be filed within 3 years, they say, adding that the band had obviously refused to acknowledge his claims for far longer than that. Okay. This was written by the band's lawyer. This is written by Linkin Park's representation, who said that callous thing earlier. Defendants repudiated plaintiff's purported ownership in any and all of the works mentioned in the lawsuit more than 3 years before plaintiff filed the lawsuit, and indeed for over 2 decades, the band's lawyer wrote. Even for the never-before-released songs, Linkin Park says Christner missed his window. Quote, unquote, the box set was released in October 2020. This action was filed on November 8th, 2023, over 3 years later. Dirty. Dirty, dirty. Fuck it. I said Music Mafia for a reason. In a statement to Billboard on Wednesday, Christner's attorney Maxwell Goss said he and his client, quote unquote, disagree with the motion and will be opposing it in a future court filing. Mr. Christner made valuable contributions to Linkin Park at a pivotal time for the band, Goss said. He just wants his creative work acknowledged and compensated. And that's fucking fair. So that's the article we branched off onto. Let's go back to the other article, which is a month later. In a filing last month, the band argued that the case had been filed far too late and that the statute of limitations on such claims had long since passed. Defendants repudiated plaintiff's purported ownership in any and all of the works mentioned in the lawsuit more than 3 years before plaintiff filed this lawsuit, and indeed for over 2 decades. So wait, now that I'm reading that with multiple sources behind it, it kind of sounds like what Linkin Park's lawyer said, their representation said, was that if he had 20 years to file a complaint, then when the box set came out, he had 3 more years to litigate. And he didn't. But now he is. And because he missed that 3-hour or that 3-year window 2 times, he definitely isn't getting a 3rd shot. Which is wild. So, great. That was the other information I was looking for. So let's just take a moment to put this together. We already talked about Kyle's thing, right? We talked about how he was put on those songs, what he found when he looked into them, what he was litigating against, and who he was litigating against. The Linkin Park representation came out and said that there were 2 windows of time in which Kyle could have received royalties and credit, both of which he has missed. And so he's timed out by the statute of limitations, and that's basic. So regardless, they want it dismissed because he already transcended the conditions of that period of time, 3 years. Which is interesting because they definitely did not acknowledge any of the taking his name off of things, lying to him about the bass parts being recorded over again. Things like that. There's just no acknowledgement of that at all. Which should be grounds for foul play, correct? Especially with a band that is so fucking chokehold about all of the, rights. I own this, I did this. It's a business entity. These people have functions within the group and they maintain them through their legality. Like, that's just what it is. That's what happens when people get songwriting credits. That's what happens when, you know, you look at, that's why when you look at a Linkin Park album, it says that Brad and Mike wrote every single one of them. And not Chester. It's because that's the way they set that shit up. So that's the first claim. That's the first grounds for dismissal. There are two additional grounds for dismissal in this conversation. One is that they're saying that he never disclosed to them exactly what it was that he worked on, which I have conflicting thoughts about, you know, with a band that is so serious about who owns what and who does what at what time. They're serious about their marketing campaigns. They're serious about keeping a tight lid on things. They're serious about being mysterious, but also giving credit to those who deserve it, because at the end of the day, this is a business venture. It's so fascinating to me that Mike wants to, in particular Mike Shinoda, who claims that Linkin Park is his baby because it was Zero, and then it was Hybrid Theory, then it was Linkin Park, and now it's Zero again. He wouldn't have written down Chris's name, Christner's name, Kyle's name. Because here's the thing, like, as an artist, you always get credit for what you did, maybe not royalties. I still get credit on the Soul Song music video, and maybe on the Soul Song Amends edition. I don't know if that's true, but definitely the YouTube video. I even have a song that was released by a different band right now that I have credit working on. Okay? I made sure that happened. So for a, quote, session bass guitarist, a professional studio musician like Kyle Christner, it is beyond understanding for me to realize that he was literally cut out of credits and lied to and erased from the actual record as far back as the debut of Linkin Park. So all of you guys who gained an interest in Linkin Park through the Linkin Park Underground, who interacted with all the meet and greets at the time, who you know, were part of the live chats and the chat room chats and all this social media outreach, during that time, Kyle Christner was being thrown to the side. That's wild. I don't understand why somebody like Mike wouldn't have just acknowledged that it's reasonable to want credit on songs, even if you didn't want it. Say that Kyle was like, oh, I don't want the royalties, I don't want the credit, to one of the biggest albums of all time. Wouldn't you just want to put his fucking name down? Like, maybe that makes me new age, but I would put the guy's name down on the song. And if I didn't, I would apologize. Understand that the moment was insane. You know, we were making the jump from early internet to social media, okay? There's a lot of different things going on. They utilized a lot of tools to do this, which is why it's no surprise that Mike Shinoda wanted to be a part of the Web3 development program with Warner Music Group. He's always been on that. He's always had his finger on that pulse. He's always been an innovator. But, like, why would you not put the fucking guy's name down? And why would you reject him all this time later? Like, it can't be that serious. It can't be that serious for you as the leader of the band to put someone's name on 24 songs out of, over 100 that you've released? Wow. It's crazy. So that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me that the second grounds for dismissal were rooted entirely in what they called open-ended statements made on Kyle Christner's behalf, where he said that he could have been working on this. Kyle knows what songs he worked on. If I was working on an album and, like, writing music for it, I would remember what songs I worked on because I wouldn't have written the other songs. This man very clearly stated that 24 tracks he definitely was the bass player on. And they're saying that he didn't provide them with the adequate inventory for an appropriate assessment of what was owed and not owed. What? It sounds like you get to just say, well, that was an open-ended statement, because you didn't say anything else. It's not like they're in here with a bunch of different statements on like, well, they said that they worked on could have been, but then they were saying that this might have contradicted. There was no breakdown. Okay. I think that's very strange. And I think it's very strange the way that the band chose to handle that. Like, for them to then say, well, you had 2-3 year periods and you chose not to take advantage of that is super annoying. It's like, are you professionals or not? Do you care about the art and the artist, or do you care about the art and the money? Because again, last time I checked, like, let's just check this. I typed in, I was wrong. I typed in right now, Mike Shinoda net worth. And according to this pop-up here, the CAKnowledge.com, Mike Shinoda's net worth. As of 2024, Mike Shinoda's net worth is estimated to be $87 million. And here they are misquoting the band again. Mike Shinoda co-founded Linkin Park in 1996. No, he didn't. He founded Zero in 1996. It evolved into Hybrid Theory in 99 at some point, and it became Linkin Park during that process. So we have a guy here who's worth, allegedly, $87 million. And this is the guy who is refusing to give Kyle Christner his credit and his royalties. Let's see, Brad Delson. We'll put Bradford because that's his whole name. It says here on Celebrity Net Worth, which again could be wrong, he is estimated to have a net worth of about $25 to $45 million. Let's see, about Joe Hahn. Joe Hahn, according to Google, is estimated to be about $25 to $35 million net worth. That was Mike, Brad, Joe. Let's do Dave Farrell. Isn't that interesting? He is like the lowest paid, but he's still a millionaire. As of 2024, Dave's net worth is estimated to be $5 million, which is nowhere near the other three. But that's interesting that he only has as much. Like, I wonder what his cut from Linkin Park actually is. That's interesting. And then who was the last one? Rob Borden. Whoa, that's weird as fuck. Oh, it sounds like Chester was a Dave. Because here, as of 2023, Rob Borden's net worth is estimated to be around $20 million. That's insane. And then here's the even crazier part. So I'm going to type in my dad's name, Chester Bennington, net worth. And let's see. At the time of his death, it's reported that his wealth was estimated to be $30 million. But somehow he was taking out 7-figure loans from Sean Dowdell. it sounds like 30 million might not actually be the real number at all. So you're telling me that all these millionaires couldn't pay him out? You guys couldn't just pool money together and pay him for 24 songs at the rate of your most successful album? That's insane that you wouldn't just offer that. You're millionaires. And the ones with more money, why wouldn't they just chip in? That's capitalism for you. Capitalism does not care about sharing money. At least 3 of these people have tens of millions of dollars. That's insane. So the fact that he could be dismissed on statute terms is really weird. It's just does not reek it doesn't smell anything of empathy. And then you have him dismissed on not being clear enough about what he's owed or why, which he was very clear about it. And then the third grounds for dismissal was that, here. Oh, fuck, it's on the phone again. I took a note. Let me see if I can remember it. The third thing on my mind was that he was dismissed on a third grounds, which was, I did check Mike. Mike was somewhere between like 65 and $80 million. I'll look at one more time. I don't know where the 80 came from. Sorry about that. According to 2 sources here, he is estimated as of this moment to be worth $65 million. But he really needs Linkin Park, right? He really, really has to do it. Anyways, back to the article. Let's see if I can find that extra piece here. Oh, and every time I talk about the wrongdoings done to Kyle Christner, which they're not saying they didn't do these things. They're just saying that on the grounds of what he is litigating against, he is dismissed out of court. Okay, they're not saying they didn't do it. They're saying that they did do it. He had his chance. Whoa. No, I'm not going to do this. Let me look real quick. We're going to take a small little pause. Oh, that's right, the repudiation. The third grounds for dismissal was that he had refused to accept or rejected the royalties and the credit. Again, why? Why would he do that? You're telling me that this guy rejected it, but then chose all these years later, like 20 plus years, to litigate against you. So Kyle Christner said, no, I don't want it. And then he really wanted it. Now, if you put it that way, it sounds like Kyle is money hungry or looking to ride the tail of something greater, right? Like, but it doesn't make any sense either on that front if you really look at it, because what they're saying is that he failed to say anything in 2020, in 2021, in 2022, and barely said anything in 2023 because it was in November that he filed the lawsuit. So is it him wanting the money, or is it him rejecting it, or is it him being gaslit and isolated and shut down? Because all I saw right here is that someone called out Linkin Park, took them to court, and were pushed out of court on all grounds. And they didn't have to acknowledge what he said. They didn't have to acknowledge what they did. Guys, they lied to him about his bass parts on the Hybrid Theory EP. They fired him after he helped them secure a record deal with Warner Brothers and replaced him with Dave. And it's just insane. Like, this is an insane thing to say. And then for him to not, it's almost like if I were to break all this down into like simple moving pieces, what I would say is that this is the way it looks. It looks like Linkin Park produced the Hybrid Theory box set. A former Linkin Park manager saw that and said, that's not okay, because all of this is not okay. But more specifically, I know about Kyle, because I know what's on the box set, and I know what happened in the past. When you took him off the fan club edition, you lied to him about his bass parts, you fired him before he could say anything after he got you a record deal, and then you ignored him and erased him for over 20 years. He said, Kyle, go look at this box set. There are at least 9 songs here that you need to be looking at. And Kyle went and looked, and when he dug deeper, what he found was that, in fact, Linkin Park did not replace his bass parts. They lied to him. At least on that version of the EP. Maybe that version of the EP is different than the one they originally released. That's totally something that could have happened, but not on this version of it. This version is Kyle Christner. It's not Dave Farrell. It's not whoever the middle guy was. There was a guy who toured Hybrid Theory for a little bit before Dave got into the business again. So Dave was like in and out of the recording process and in and out of the touring process at the very beginning. So Kyle goes and looks at the music and he goes, holy shit, no, there are 24 tracks here and they lied to me about my bass parts on the EP, Hybrid Theory EP. So he goes and he litigates against Mike Shinoda, Bradford Delson, Joe Hahn, and Dave Farrell, the living members, and Rob Borden. I think I said Rob. The 5 living members of Linkin Park. Their label, at the time it was Warner Records or Warner Brothers Incorporated. Now it's Warner Music Group. And against Machine Shop itself, which is Linkin Park's co-label. Okay? And he brought those 24 songs to the stage, and he was in litigation from November to March. In March, the band decided they were going to throw out the suit. They were going to file for a dismissal on 3 grounds. And one of them was that he did not tell them exactly what he was owed and why. Which is not true. According to these articles. The second grounds was that he had missed 2 statute of limitation periods. And the third account was that he had repudiated or rejected sternly any connection to the band for over 20 years. Again, it doesn't make sense that Kyle Christner would not litigate within the period of time that was allotted. It makes no sense that he was there for the money because he missed the statute of limitations. If he really was about the money, he would have gotten it in that period of time. He would have started litigating during that period of time, but he did not. It doesn't say what the amicable resolution was. It just says that it was shut down. I'm sure that he probably was paid or something. But it seems weird that they would do that all under the table when Linkin Park just admitted that they lied about replacing bass parts. They erased his name from every song he was a part of. That they fired him on the spot after he helped them secure a record deal. And I don't know. I don't feel like Kyle Christner was just fucking around for 20 years. I just don't feel that way. When I see this, I see weird, cryptic shit going on that shouldn't be happening. Because in reality, all the things that Linkin Park said it never was, it just said it did. Again, none of this reporting states that Linkin Park denies his claims. What Linkin Park denied was the statute of limitations, his description of what he was owed, and they claimed that he rejected them for years. But what about this? What if Kyle Christner did know? What if Kyle Christner was steamrolled like so many other people in the industry, like so many other people within the band? He didn't feel like he could litigate. Maybe he had life circumstances. I've been in situations where I didn't even know the statute of limitations was X amount of time, and that I had passed it, and I really had no right to legally ask about anything. I didn't know that. I had been living life, and I had totally forgotten about statute of limitations. I had been put through a lot of serious stuff. And so when I see that, I don't see somebody who just willingly walked away. I see somebody who was silenced. I see someone who was roughed up. And I think that's not cool. You know, regardless of what the reality is with Kyle Christner, I think that this is fucked. And to add on, you know, add all of this onto what we were talking about originally, right? We talked about what happened today. We talked about the what information Linkin Park actually posted about their comeback and what it looks like. And then for them to not bring this up at all. This happened this year. This happened in April. It's fucking August. It's the 8th month. It's not the 4th. This was an ongoing thing for the first quarter of this year, this situation with Kyle Christner, which mysteriously and quietly destroyed itself, was dismissed out of court on such flimsy grounds. It's like, all I can think is like, so you want the money. The band cares more about the money than the people. And they will actually burn you, like Mike Weston style. They will burn you. They will act like you don't exist. And then when you say something, they might just convince you. I randomly remembered Kyle like a couple days ago. I think it was when I saw the Linkin Park official timer. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Why does this feel weird? And then I was like, there's somebody missing from this picture. It's a real church situation. And then I was like, oh yeah, Kyle Christner. That was his name. Look him up, and here it is. March and April, he was thrown out of court. That's what happened. And I don't even think that if Linkin Park I mean, how many other things? This is a better question. How many other things like this have happened? Holy shit, you're from Egypt? I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for being here. That's really interesting. There's just so many things that don't add up here. The fact that the resolution itself isn't documented is very strange. What happened to Kyle was very strange. Who is the Linkin Park manager? Was it Rob McDermott? That's a good question. Why was Kyle encouraged to go look into this and get what he was owed? And why did Kyle choose to litigate when he did? I don't know where he went. I don't know what happened after. I mean, it's been 4 months. But what's also interesting is that the other day I posted the thing about Jonathan Schwartz with GSO, the financial wealth manager who is the top 5 wealth manager in his time, who represented musicians, actors, sports individuals. He went to, what is it called? Wow, I really don't remember what I was talking about. What the fuck was that? What did I just say? Can somebody send that to me in the chat? There's just a lot of information. I don't remember what I said. Yeah, that's all the information there is. Anybody? Does anybody know what I was saying? Because I don't. On a side note, I thought it was really funny that, and don't forget to let me know, remind me what I was talking about so I can get off this live stream. We're not doing the meditation. We did so much on the reporting segment, it won't be this way again. But this is important considering that the big reveal is tomorrow. No, this whole thing's dirty, bro. Even this year, or maybe it was last year. It was last year, sorry, it was 2023 when I met up with Samantha again. When I reinitiated our relationship. Before it turned into all this nonsense, which is, just a defaulting to our original relationship status. She claimed to me, like word for word, she said that she wrote the majority of Hybrid Theory and Meteora. She said that. She said she 100% is an uncredited majority creator in those two albums. She even won rights. I'll look at this article real quick. When was this? Which, this is crazy. Kyle Christner didn't get his rights, but Alternative Press reported on December 19th, 2019, that Samantha Bennington, Chester's first wife, Draven's mother, received 50% of Linkin Park royalties, along with a number of rights to non-touring merch and some other stuff. I believe there were masters involved. 50% of Chester's cut in that. In 2019. But Kyle couldn't get his. It's just strange. Like, all of this is so strange. And I think that's where we're gonna cut it. Let me see. Let's see. Who did anybody? Nobody remembers what I was talking about? There are 15 of you here. Nobody remembers. I don't even mean to sound sassy about it, but like, what the fuck? Are you guys listening? I've been on here for 213 minutes. Is somebody still listening to me? What was I saying? Sheesh. It's been over 2 hours and I've just been slaving away at this after having a total fucking difficult day, and you guys can't tell me what I said 5 minutes ago. At this point, it's almost 5 minutes ago. I'm not trying to say it's on you. I'm just asking. Like, were you guys really not paying attention? Or are you guys too busy talking about the greatest of all time? This is serious. I'm trying to finish the thought that I had. I don't know what it is. It says here that Samantha was rewarded 50% of Linkin Park royalties, including non-touring merch, publishing rights, and a share of the master sound records. And that she got 50% of what was in Chester's estate in regards to that. So, there goes my inheritance. Samantha has it. Wow. Okay. If you guys don't remember what I said, I don't remember what I said. We're going nowhere, which means we're going somewhere, and that means we're ending the live stream. You guys literally aren't answering my questions, but you're saying other things. One person responded to me asking what the fuck I was talking about. What is happening right now? There are still like 17 of you here. And you're still just talking about things while I'm telling you stuff. I hope you were listening to the information. I don't know, I'm getting kind of annoyed now. Yeah, I'm like looking at the comment section. I'm like, wait, is anybody actually here? I know there are people paying attention, but there are more people not paying attention or participating at all. Again, I'm not trying to put that on you. I'm not trying to say you are responsible for my thought pattern. But I am saying that at least one of you should know what I'm talking about, since you're here to watch me talk about this. You're here to engage in the conversation about what I'm sharing. Like even right now, why are we talking about Sam and Chester being married at the beginning of the relationship? This is his ex-wife he divorced in 2005. No, it's not about participation in general. Sorry, Mena. It's about me asking the people who have been here to tell me what the fuck I was talking about. I don't think I was talking about ghostwriters. I guess technically Kyle would count as a ghostwriter, right? But I don't think I was talking about ghostwriters. Thank you, though, for trying to let me know what I might have been talking about. I appreciate that. I'm so glad there was some interaction on the thing I was asking about during the live event I was holding, to have this interaction with the people here. Anyways. Whatever. Then I'm done. I'm going to be shitty about it. I'm going to be emotional. Then fine, we're done. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, then we're not talking about it anymore. I don't have time for that. I said what I needed to say, and I'll end it. Thank you for joining me around this proverbial campfire. It has meant so much to me that you've chosen to take the time out of your day to be present with me. I hope that you truly were present. It does not seem like many people are. And have a good day. Damn. I mean, even I was even asked if this is something I wanted to cover because it could be unimportant. What kind of fucking, what is this? It's like the Twilight Zone. I'm out of here, guys. What the fuck?